Oh, it's over. Hi. Sorry, I could dance to that all night. I think we should just play the opening throughout the whole show because I love that opening. I hope you guys are doing very well. Welcome to Small Screen Live. Oh yeah, sorry. I was just in the groove again. It's really good. I really like that song. James, you got to send me that song. It's great. No, but I hope you guys are all doing very well. We've got so much to talk about. We've got Morbius. We've got Moon Knight. Of course, we've got to talk about the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock, Oscar slap. We've got Henry Cavill news to talk about as well. We've got Bruce Willis, rather sad news to talk about. Hopefully, we'll have Clint on a bit later on in the show. We do have James behind the scenes pressing the buttons. He likes to press those buttons. As you can tell, he loves to press those buttons, and we love James. I hope you guys are all doing very well. There are quite a few of you in the chat, so I want to start off by saying hello to all of you. Hello to Jedi Master EJ saying hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there. Got some Obi-Wan Kenobi news as well to talk about. Who else do we have in the chat? We have Chrysler saying stopping in for a quick quack. And yes, remember, like and subscribe to say hello before I head out to teach people how to defend themselves against random Will Smith attacks. Oh dear. Have a great and catch on the replay. I hope you have a very good time, Chrysler, doing that. And yeah, maybe Chris Rock needed some of your moves. Maybe that before the slap. Yeah, maybe that might have helped. Right, who else do we have in the chat? We have Bobby Anderson. Bobby, how you doing, Bobby? Saying, hi, EJ, happy to see you. Hi, Bobby, I hope you're doing very well. Right, who else do we have in the chat? We have Raj saying hey to Chrysler, but hey to you, Raj. You can also say hey to us. We're here as well. Say hello. We've got Bobby again saying hello to Raj and Chrysler. Jedi Master EJ saying hello to Bobby, to Raj, to Chrysler. You guys are all so nice to one another. It's so nice. And we've got Raj saying Bobby. No, I think normally they used to be. We used to have a clip for Bobby, but we don't seem to have one anymore. Mr. J says, "What's up, everybody? How you doing, Mr. J? If that's the Joker, please be nice. Don't be mean to me. You're rather scary." I didn't get to talk about the Joker clip, actually, did I? Because I wasn't on last week. Reese75 says, hello there.
Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства? Cocainum.
Reese made that clip, so it was only fair.
Yeah, no, it's a good clip. It's kind of. I always find that one weird to look at, I have to say, because it's my face. It's a bit weird. Who else do we have in the chat? I think, is that everybody? Bobby saying, love the intro music. The intro music is brilliant. I think we should just talk about the intro music for like 3 hours because I think that's amazing. We should just listen to it in the background. It's such good intro music. I love it. Who else do we have in the chat? We have, who are we going to bring up next? We have Raj saying, hey to that James guy. Everybody say hi to James. You should all say hi to James because James is amazing. He is my producer. And he is great. We have Bobby there again. Dan Zig, 1979, saying, it's Friday night. Get your funk on with the small screen family. Yes, hopefully we will all be here tonight. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we have Clint coming on later. Is that the music? He's done it. He's put the music on. Bakertown saying, yo, peeps. Yo, peeps. Family. Maybe we should turn the music down a bit because I can hear it quite a lot in my headphones. It's quite off-putting. There we go. That's nicer. Yeah. Hello to Bakertown. Who else do we have? We have Mr. J saying, "What's up, small screen? How are you doing, Mr. J?" We've got so much to discuss. Yes, we do. It's the small screen show, says Sox Bulletin. Yes, the small screen show. I do like that. I like that a lot. We've probably got to rebrand. James is like having a heart attack. Right, we got Raj saying James out here trolling as usual. Yeah, he's always trolling.
Yeah.
I suppose I've got to say happy April Fools to everybody. There were some articles that went up on the site today that were April Fool's jokes, but one of them in particular seemed to take off, which I think is hilarious. We might talk a little bit about that later on. But yes, I was half expecting to see more trolling from James today online. Maybe we might get that this evening. Geek Studio saying
Too
hi
busy.
to everybody. He's too busy. He's always too busy. He's just doing too much stuff.
Yeah, I'm very busy. What's going on?
One of the best movies of all time, by the way. The Room. If you haven't seen it, have to watch it. We got Geek Studios saying hi. Hello, Geek Studios. I hope you're doing very well. And who else do we have? We have Clint Baker in the chat. Where are you, Clint? Saying, what happened to Will Smith? Sorry, what happened with Will Smith? Yeah, we're going to get... No one knows. We got, who else do we have? I'm going through there. We've got Love Fridays with the fam. Oh, it's a nice little family we've kind of cultivated here, isn't it? Saying my man, yeah, my man. One of that was that actually. If in the comments was that line in Zack Snyder's Justice League? Because I can't remember if it was in that. I don't think it was.
Was it Booyah?
Was it Booyah? I think Booyah wasn't in Zack Snyder's
That was a
Justice League.
joke, Edward.
Okay. I don't.
What?
Yeah, it's late and your jokes go over my head. Geek Studio saying hi, Edward. Hi, James. Hi, Socks. Hi, EJ. Yes, hello to everybody. You're all saying. Wait, who else do we? Oh God. Sorry, I'll bring up that. We'll bring up that comment in a bit. Oh, here it is. Reese saying Ed can listen to the intro music with his AirPods Max. Yes, yeah. Let's laugh it up, Fuzzball. Geek Studio saying fire music, and Retro Nerd Girl saying hello there. Hello to you, Retro Nerd Girl. I hope you're doing very well. Right. Is that everything? Is that everything? Do we have everybody there?
Hello, Peter.
Hello there.
That's a great clip from James. Right, I think I've said hello to everybody. I think that's everybody. All right. If I didn't say hello to you, I don't lie, mate. If I didn't say hello to everybody, I'm sorry. But we do have things to discuss. Oh no, Kazax is in the chat saying cocainum. There we go.
Cocainum.
Okay, can someone explain to me why people keep on saying Merry Christmas, Edward?
I have no idea what's going on. I was going to ask you when I saw that
Because
today.
yeah,
Kaz, you
because
wanna
that was
explain that?
Kaz. Explain that because I noticed that you put that on Twitter today, and I have no idea what you did. I was just like, okay.
Honestly, I think
Is
Kaz
that because
losing his
it's
mind a bit.
is it because it's April Fool's Day and people think I love April Fool's Day? I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I have to say, if you go onto the internet on April Fool's Day, just automatically assume that every piece of news you read is fake. Because today there were a lot of them, and actually some of them were very bad. I have to say, like not very funny at all. I think ours were quite funny, but
They're
that's
genius.
because-
I think you did a good job. Yeah.
well, I can't take all credit for it. I have to say, Clint came up. You and Clint came up with two of them. I'm pretty sure. The Mike Tyson Oscars one was Clint, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the Invisible Man one was mine. And I think what was the other one we came up with? I can't remember now.
I don't remember. I don't think I did one.
Didn't you?
No. Last year
and-
on Geekosity,
no,
we had you as
yeah.
Captain Britain and still taking over
Well,
WB.
well, that's real though. Me as Captain Britain.
Yeah.
That's not fake. No, it was Clint came up with two of them. He came up with Will Smith now living with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air, which was the other one that we've got.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna be Will Smith. I'm gonna be Nightwing, right?
Yep. Right, we got quite a lot of stuff to talk about.
Fully, that clip didn't play for you, did it?
No, it didn't. No, there are some clips that just don't play for me, and I'm just probably talking over them.
Fellow James.
James M. What's up, everybody? Morbius in theaters. Yes, we will talk a little bit about Morbius and lightning strikes from E-Boarder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's. You haven't seen Morbius yet, have you?
No, but I've I've heard everything about it. I really don't care about spoilers for that one. So
Good, because I'm going to spoil everything
Right.
about this movie. Right, so if you haven't seen that, we've got the review that went up today, and I think it's very fitting that Morbius, starring Jared Leto, as I like to call him, the incredible Jared Leto. Honestly, Jared Leto is a bit of an enigma to me because I can't quite decide whether he's amazing or terrible. For me, have you ever watched that episode of Community where Abed is
Yes.
asked whether Nicolas Cage is a good or a bad actor?
Yes.
I think Jared Leto is in the same area because sometimes I'll watch him and I'll be like, oh my God, I think he's brilliant. Like, I thought he was incredible in Requiem for a Dream. I thought he was really good in a film called Mr. Nobody. I really liked him in House of Gucci. I thought he was hilarious, but I thought actually, if you know the actual person he's playing one of the Gucci siblings. That's actually exactly what he's like, or he was like. He's dead now. But then he'll be in films like Suicide Squad, where I genuinely think he's terrible in that movie. But you know that he makes some odd choices, doesn't he? With some of the roles he takes, and I think he makes some rather odd decisions with the way he decides to play those roles. However, with Morbius, he is not the problem. I actually think he's actually all right in Morbius. I think he's pretty good. He's not the problem. The problem is the story is pants. And this movie feels like a movie. It feels like a superhero movie that would have been made in like the early 2000s. I would have it on par with kind of. I don't know if you ever watched the Wolverine Origins film.
Oh yeah, I watched it, and then I watched the one that got leaked with the bad CG. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
The
I didn't see the one
unfinished version when the pirates leaked it. Oh, it was hilarious.
I didn't watch.
It was actually better than the one that released in the theaters, to be honest with you.
But I feel like maybe not quite as bad as that, because I really do think that's a bad movie. But a bit like The Wolverine. If you've watched that one, which was the James Mangold's first Wolverine movie, which I think had a lot of issues with it as well. Yeah. It's just kind of a very bit dull, and I think that's the main problem with this film. Is it's got some really good actors in it. Like I think I love Matt Smith. I think he's great in everything he's in. Ever since one of the only reasons why I kept on watching Doctor Who was because I really liked his interpretation of Doctor Who. A bit weird, a bit wacky. He's great in The Crown, and he's actually pretty decent in this as the villain. As he's got two names in this. He's either called Lionel or Milo, because for some reason Morbius wants to start calling him Milo. But it's like I was watching it in the first half of the movie. I was thinking, oh, this is all right. Like, this is perfectly fine. It's not, you know, I was thinking it's better than Venom 2, which I think Venom 2 is just a very poorly made movie. And then the end of it, sorry, Jared Leto is basically when everyone thinks Abed is Jesus. Yeah, it's kind of like he's a weird actor. He's a strange person as well. But then it kind of descends into chaos, into complete and utter chaos at the end. There's way too much CGI in it. It's terrible. It literally, in some parts, it just looks like a video game, which is a shame because this movie's been delayed about 4 times. So it was supposed to come out back in, was it 2020? It was supposed to be released originally, and it feels like a movie that's gone through so many edits that in the end, it doesn't really. It just feels like it's been tampered with too much, and then they must have changed the ending so many times. There are lots of things in the trailers that are just not in this movie, and then it ends, and it's a bit of a boring ending. It's like, okay, well, that was all right, and then the post-credit scenes happen, and you think, what on earth is happening? Because the post-credit scenes. So this whole film, like one of the reasons why people got really excited about this movie when they saw the trailer was because the trailers revealed that Michael Keaton was going to be returning in this film as Vulture, as Adrian Toomes, he's literally only in 2 post-credit scenes, and they're terrible. They are both terrible because literally the whole thing is like you see the sky opening up. You go, oh, okay, they're gonna bring in the multiverse here. They're gonna have it tied to Spider-Man No Way Home. But we also we know from Spider-Man No Way Home that it doesn't work in the way that we really were thinking it was going to work at the end of Venom. Because the end of Venom 2, he goes into the MCU. Tom Hardy's Venom goes into the MCU, and at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he immediately leaves it after learning all about Spider-Man. Honestly, that made no sense. This makes no sense either.
Yeah, I saw the post-credit scene, the one with Toomes flying in a suit. What does he say? I didn't get to hear.
Okay,
it, on YouTube.
I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, Zach, because that's the second post-credit scene. The first post-credit scene is an empty jail cell, and then all of a sudden you see that there's a crack in the sky you see before, and then Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes starts to just appear out of thin air. And it's like, why the hell would he be going into this universe? Because it's pretty well established that this universe is not the same universe as the MCU, because there is no Spider-Man. And then he's like, oh, it must have something, like literally Adrian Toomes says this, it must have something to do with Spider-Man. He immediately knows he's in a different universe. And I'm like, this is so bloody stupid. I was watching this thing, and literally everyone in the audience, when he uttered the line, "It must have something to do with Spider-Man," everyone laughed because everyone knew it was really stupid. And then there's this like news bulletin scene when they're like, Adrian Toomes has come out of nowhere and he just appeared in an empty cell. And I'm like, why would that be newsworthy? Also, like, what? So, like, I just don't see how they would care. Like, I was kind of watching, going, why is this guy such a big deal? Anyway,
what's better, Ray Winstone in Black Widow or the post-credit scenes of Morbius?
Oh, Ray Winston and Black Widow. At least he's got a reason for being in the movie. Like, there is literally no reason to have Michael Keaton in this movie apart from, oh, we want to try and do something with these 2 characters. They literally make no sense to be in the same movie. And then there's a second post-credit scene. Well, at the end of the first post-credit scene, they reveal that they have to let him out of prison because he's technically done no crimes in that universe. So they've had to let him go. So he's now back in the wild. That's the whole point of that post-credit scene, is to have him go out of prison. And then the second post-credit scene is, first off, Jared Leto's Morbius is driving in a car. I'm sorry, if you're Morbius, why the fuck would you be driving a car? The movie establishes he can fly. Anyway, I thought that was really dumb. And then he goes into the middle of nowhere, gets out of the car, and he's like looking around, and all of a sudden you see Vulture flying over a field, and then Vulture stops in front of him, and then Vulture's like no, Morbius is like, oh, thank you for your message or something, I got your message, and he's like, yeah, I think, and then Adrian Toomes is like, yeah, I think we should be doing some things together. We could do some cool things together. Okay, I had so many questions.
Who sent him the message? Wait, Morbius?
This is no. Toomes sent Morbius. This is what I was saying. I was like, is there like a WhatsApp group? Yeah. It's like, so Toomes sent Morbius a message being like, meet me in the middle of bloody nowhere at this time. It's like, okay. Secondly, how the fuck does Adrian Toomes have any of his whole getup, his Vulture getup?
Right.
Because it was well established that stuff was stolen tech from when the attack. So how would he have that in that universe? Doesn't make any sense. And then I'm like, why would these 2 be meeting? And then I was like, okay, the whole movie spends all like its 1 hour 48-minute runtime trying to establish Morbius as basically a hero. They want him to be a hero. All right, which works. And there's a little tease at the end of the movie being like, oh, there's someone else that's going to be a villain in the next movie. Is basically Morbius's girlfriend, is probably going to be a bad vampire. Who knows? But then they end with these 2 post-credit scenes when they're like, oh no, forget all of that. Morbius is a bad guy because he's going to work with Adrian Toomes. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. It's literally the whole runtime of the film is just completely and utterly forgotten about. Everything that happened in that movie, don't care about it because we want to make a Vulture and Morbius movie,
So
which
it's
doesn't.
because like they saw No Way Home, they're like, oh crap, now we gotta just reshoot these.
Yeah,
Oh Jesus.
it doesn't make any sense. It's just and I see. I think Clint
What's
wants
up,
to talk
Death Knight?
about this. Okay.
Yeah,
Should we
I
get-
gotta bring
should we
Clint
get
in a
Clint in?
minute. Thanks for joining Death Knight.
Honestly, well, I was like, I was watching this thing at the end of the movie, being like, "Oh my, this could not be more Sony. This could not be dumber. This it looks bad. It's like I say, why is the minute I started watching it's that second post credit scene when he's driving the car, I was like, oh god, oh dear.
All right, let's gonna bring Clint in now.
Yep.
He's chomping at the bit to talk about this. 1 sec here. Let's cue him up.
Hey, Clint.
What's up, gang? Dude? It made total sense. What are you guys talking about?
It didn't make any
Morbius?
sense.
Total sense. I'm like, what's not to understand?
Okay, try to explain to me how it makes sense.
Well, clearly they've heard me. I've been having a mild stroke for the past 6 months about why and how is Michael Keaton going to be in this movie? How did Vulture end up in this movie? And I'm like, how did it? And then I didn't see him in the movie, and I'm like, oh, that was weird. I guess they took him out. And then I did see him in the movie in the post-credit scene, and they fractured the skies, and I realized Doctor Strange has done his work and broken the universe, and all of a sudden, and it looked like a water painting of the sky too. It wasn't like a cool effect. It was just like somebody painted a mural of the sky being broken, and then they panned to it was like a bad TV show, and then they panned to the and most of the movie was actually pretty cool, honestly, but we'll get into that in a sec. But then they pan to the cell, and then he's like and he appears, and I was like, and he's like, does this bit? He's like, huh? Like, how did? And then he's like, and then he says, "Boy, I hope the food is better in this joint."
Yes,
Oh my god!
And
I
I
was
was
trying
like,
to remember the line.
and then he smiles in his Beetlejuice-esque grin. He was like, and then they go away, and I was like, really? Is this the post-credit scene I'm hearing about? And I'm like, and I go, well, they just explained why he was there. At least they included the multiverse breaking, and he just went to another universe, kind of like we saw Venom do, which might be why they put that Venom scene in the movie to explain this. Okay, and then which means they're probably going to want to do a Sinister Six, and they're going to probably try to figure a way to like duct tape this all together, and then
Sinister 5 and No Way Home.
man, I don't know, but
Clint, can I ask you? So like, he shows up in his civvies or his jail uniform.
he's wearing orange pajamas. He's in his jail
and
jail clothes.
then he goes and gets some tech from this Earth.
Well, so they do that, and then they, like he said, like Edward said, they do a news headline. Random guy shows up in jail. They had no reason to hold this random man named so and so they let him out. And he just showed up in a prison, and we're like, who the hell is this guy? We can't hold him. Let's let him go. So then they release him, and then he's like, sweet, I'm in a different universe, I guess, and I'm free. And so then somehow he finds the much like Morbius throughout this movie, he's like, hey, here's a watch band. I'll turn this into some technology. Like that happens all through the movie with Morbius, but you can just get random pieces of whatever.
Hold on, Clint. This deserves a wow.
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 Yeah. So he shows up. But here's the interesting thing, and this didn't even occur to me till today. Something struck me as funny, and I'm like, I'm guessing they're going to want to do some kind of thing with a bunch of villains. And he basically says we should team up. We need to make a team for a bunch of bad guys like us. And which I was like, he's not a bad guy. He just finished defeating the bad guy and doesn't want to hurt people. He just said it throughout the whole movie. So this is kind of weird. Also, why isn't he flying? And he's in a Porsche. Where did he get his money? I guess, does he still have money to his funds? Did they freeze his funds, or did he just steal someone's Porsche? I was trying to think that, but it did look like a Porsche commercial with Jared Leto driving.
Yeah, I was really thinking that at the beginning. I was like, this looks like a commercial.
That was kind of weird. But then when he was speaking, I was like, he's got the vulture mask on with the glowing eyes and all that, and super big Stark tech. And it was really kind of distracting to me because the sound of his voice was kind of weird. And I was thinking, oh, they just kind of did that. And then I thought maybe they did it like he did the voiceover from home.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'll just do this into a Blue Yeti, a USB microphone, and y'all clean it up. And then it occurred to me later, they might, because of the way it sounded, they could have used Respeecher like they did. I don't know this. This is just my own theory, but like they did Luke Skywalker, they could have possibly just taken a bunch of Michael Keaton voice stuff and had somebody else do that, like and respeeched his parts. And I really think they might have, because there was something I pay attention to to voice and how things are edited and ADR and things like that. And something about his voice was weird. It sounded like him, but it was weird, and that would be really interesting if they're like, man, we really need a way to piece this together so we can go do our Sinister Six and have once we have Kraven the Hunter and all this, which just began filming and all that, we can have all these bad guys do some kind of team up in the spy. We just get every bad guy that we have the rights to and make some kind of bad guy team, and then we'll have another 3 Spider-Man show or so, movie where they have to all come back and stop them, or I don't know. Who knows? But it was very Sony. I'll say that. I was like, this is some Sony serious business right here.
This is some Sony shit. That's what I was
thinking. I didn't want to say I was going to say some Sony ass shit right here.
No, it really is.
Seriously, what happened with Will Smith? What are y'all talking about?
Clint, how many Red Bulls have you had?
Not even one.
I was
about a half.
Do you agree with me that this it felt like a comic book movie from like the late 90s, early 2000s? It was like a kind of Blade, like it was nowhere near as good as any of the Blade movies, but it kind of had that weird kind of X-Men Bladey vibe about it. It's like not quite as, it wanted to be as like R-rated and bloody and gruesome as Blade was, but they just thought, let's not go that far because then we'll cut our audience in half.
It totally did. I've heard more than one person say that too. It rubbed everyone the wrong way. And I told James, I was talking to him.
Apart from Grace Ranoff, she liked the movie.
I mean, I enjoyed some of it. And then
I think the beginning, I think when I was watching the beginning, I was like, I think I might like this. And then I was actually enjoying it up until the last third, when I was like, it just lost the plot completely.
Yes.
By the end.
There was a point where I got a big grin on my face and I leaned forward. I go, "Oh, dude, this is good." It was when he got his powers and he starts kicking people's butts, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool!" Like, it really felt like it was gonna be. But like you said, it was kind of campy. I told James yesterday, I was like, "This reminded me of the equivalent of how cheesy G.I. Joe movies are." Like they're really cheesy, and they're running around in a ship where there's like metal platforms with machine guns, like running away looking for the thing, like for the bad guy. And it felt very much like that. It was weird.
That actually, Dan brings up a really good point. He says, does he have plasma suckers on his hands like he did in the animated series? No, he doesn't. And that would have been so much better if he did. Like there's a lot about this that they really like. The Morbius character can't go out in sunlight. Yeah, and Evanescence should have been playing in the background. It was funny though, because before I started watching them in the screening room, that everything went dark apart from the screen, which was bright white, and then they started playing Paramore, and I was like, oh my god, I'm transported right back to like 2010. And then I was like, okay, is this actually part of the movie, or is this just some guy in the booth being like, I like Paramore, play Paramore before the movie comes on? So I was getting into the vibe. I think it's that kind of movie. It really does feel like one of those movies that came out in like 2000, like maybe 2005 to 2010, maybe not so much 90s, because there weren't really so many comic book movies that came out in the 90s. But there are so many They cut so many corners as well with the character, because really, to be honest, Morbius doesn't in this movie, he doesn't really have any, apart from the fact that he wants to drink blood at some points in the film, that there's no real kind of what's the word, challenge for him to overcome. Like, he's just like, oh, I can take my fake blood. Yeah, Dr. Morbius makes blue fake blood. That's the thing that he's famous for in this universe, and he's like,
it
gives
blood or plasma, like in the
it's,
cartoon.
yeah, it's like kind of it's like
synthetic
artificial blood is synthetic blood, and it's blue, and he's like there drinking bags of blue blood, and then he's like, the synthetic blood I can only last for 4 hours 22 minutes in the blue blood. And I kept something, and then I was thinking, dude, why don't you go and like suck the blood of some animals, because I'm pretty sure vampire bats don't like live off human blood. Like, I kept something,
He almost
and
got
then
that cat. It looked like he was going to get that cat for a second.
it wasn't the cat, it was her. She cut herself, and then he was like, like he's like, I'm gonna kill you.
I thought he was eyeballing the cat, and then he's like, sorry.
No, and then he's like, he says, there's the moment when there's a character that dies, that gets killed, literally gets his stomach slashed open. When Morbius finds this guy, it's Jared Harris's character. I can't remember his name.
Who was great.
Yeah, but he's barely in the film. Like, this is there's very little of him in the movie. And then I was thinking, when Morbius goes in front of this guy, blood's everywhere. He's fine. And I was thinking it would have been cool if he was like, there was some urges that came in. Hi, Freddie. But honestly, the film, I think when it got past like the hour mark, even maybe a bit before that, it just started to become very silly. And I mean, what else do you expect from a movie that's made by Daniel Espinosa? That's the other thing. It's a movie that stars Jared Leto and is directed by Daniel Espinosa. If you don't know who this director is, he directed Child 44, Safe House, Life. And Life is literally the biggest alien ripoff I've ever seen in my life, and is terrible, and stars Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal. And he's just not really made a single good movie, this director. And then I was kind of thinking, oh, okay, well, it makes sense now that this film ended up being as bad as it did. And I also think it makes sense that it was released on April Fool's Day, because I think this movie is just a big joke of a film, to be honest. It's not a serious film. It's like Jared Leto is going around trying to promote it as though it is. It's not. And it makes it very clear that these Sony movies, these Sony like Spider-Man adjacent films, are not serious movies. They're not taking themselves seriously, which is perfectly fine. But if they're not taking themselves seriously, then they've got to be a bit more fun, a bit more wacky, a bit more zany. They're just very dull. And that's the problem, that they just become very generic at the end. And they like to attach big names to them, but it doesn't make any difference.
You touched upon that he really had nothing to overcome. Like, was there like a hero's journey in the film, or
the hero's journey,
any like character arc?
The hero's journey. Well, for one, everybody, like, they found bodies and stuff that he was responsible for. So the police are after him, and then there's some more bodies that turn up, and they arrest him. He thinks he blacked out. It turns out his friend, his best childhood friend, ended up getting a hold of the serum.
Yeah.
And did the same thing to himself. So there's two of them, and so it wasn't him after all who killed his coworker that he's known for 10 years. It was his friend that did it. And so then the rest of the movie is him trying to control his friend, who's been his best friend since they were little kids, who even helped, I guess, fund some of his research and stuff like that.
I think he funded all of it.
Yeah, it was Matt Smith's character. What was interesting about Matt Smith is like, towards the end, well, the effects of stuff, it looked like Lost Boys, kind of.
Yes.
Like, the way it started again, it would like look like Lost Boys, but it
Not
was weird
good.
because Matt Smith's a great actor. So is Jared Leto, like, so is Jared Harris, like all these people. And it's like, but Matt Smith towards the end, it was very much like he was doing a play. Like he was doing a play of a vampire. It didn't feel like a live action vampire. It felt like a super over the top exaggerated. It was made it almost kind of silly. It was like a play. And you have these you have these really talented actors in there, so you're used to seeing them make good material, and they're doing a good job with their scripts. It's just that like they didn't have really much to do, and like I said on your tweet, I was like, there was no meat in the sandwich. You know what I mean? They'd have like this big dramatic moment, and I'm like, they're doing a good job of like acting this, but there's no reason for them to be behaving this way. There was nothing that led to this climax. Like throughout, so, I was like, it was a big nothing burger the whole movie, the whole time.
So his character Morbius really didn't have anything to like overcome, to come full circle, to like for his character to grow and overcome obstacles. Like the hero's journey is about like not having faith in yourself, going out on a journey to either find an object or find something about you, then coming back to where you were and celebrating with the people around you, or like changing the environment that you come back to.
He was a hero the whole movie.
Yeah,
he was constantly trying to help people. He never really had any doubts. He had a where he hurt a few people, but it wasn't his fault. It was the first time when he changed, it was an involuntary hunger, and luckily it was a bunch of bad guys. You know what I mean? That he happened to chow down on. After that, he had guilt about that, and he didn't want. He was like, I never want that to happen to anyone again. He refused to have real blood because he doesn't want to hurt people. So the whole time, he's never a bad guy. Until he decides to meet Vulture at the end to team up to do a bad guy team up, you know. But like the whole movie, he's a good guy. Yes, maybe he's running from the cops, maybe he has to kick somebody's ass or something, but like he's really just trying to figure out how to control what he's got, and it's just kind of a curse for him.
Nice. Edward, do you want to address that? Chris, a message.
Okay, this is interesting from Chris. Okay, Vulture is actually Chitauri, not Stark Tech. Yeah, I know that we knew that, but it's not going to be available on that Earth anyway, because that Earth was never attacked by the Chitauri. So how the hell does he get that
exactly?
Vulture line is something like, maybe we should team up and do some good. Yeah, okay. But it's coming from the Vulture that was in Spider-Man Homecoming that is a villain, and he like the Vulture in that sense, yeah, it's kind of a bit. He's not really. Would you say he's bad in that movie? I think
he's not a hero.
He's not a hero.
To say do some good, you know, there's something sinister has to it.
With him, there's always
behind that. Yeah.
What's a Chitauri? Just kidding. No, he's a working man that got pushed to a bad spot by the government, you know what I mean?
Like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, he tried to made a shit ton of money out of selling alien technology
and robbing banks.
Yeah, and to be honest, for me, in that movie, he is a villain, and all he wants to do is kill Spider-Man, and that's what he wants. He still wants to do that at the end, but he wants it to be him, which is why he doesn't reveal Peter Parker's real identity. To be honest, for me, it makes no sense.
Read it, Edward.
Vulture does it for family.
Family.
Thank you.
It's like Tony Soprano. Is he a villain? Or is he not?
Yes.
Or is he the hero?
No, he's definitely a villain.
No way. He's my favorite.
Yeah, he's a villain. But that's the thing. I think Vulture is in that bracket of villain that is like actually quite likable, and you kind of understand what he's doing and his motivations. The thing is, this movie does not set up Morbius as being like that. Morbius is always a good guy in this film. He's always trying to do the right thing. And then him teaming up with Vulture, it makes absolutely no sense. It's like, why would he do that? What would it be in it for him? Literally, Vulture's just a guy in a suit. And like, literally this suit, how can it be anywhere near as effective as the suit that he... Maybe Vulture's using him.
Well,
maybe that's what...
Asked, could it be the same suit from the Spider-Man 2 post-credit scenes? The amazing Spider-Man 2 post-credit scenes?
How random would it be that he he just happened to materialize in prison, and then the suit happened to materialize somewhere else, and then he just so happened to stumble across it or know where to go look for it. It's bad writing.
No,
it's terrible writing.
It's very bad writing. It's very clunky. It really felt like it was put together at the very last second, which I'm thinking it was, because if you think back not that long ago, Michael Keaton said on, I think it was like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, one of those shows, he said, I'm literally going like tomorrow to do reshoots for a Sony a Marvel movie. That Marvel movie was this film. So yeah, those
Okay, Mr. J does have a good question, because I want to know this too. Is Toby in the film as Spider-Man? Like even like
no.
The poster?
No, that's not in the film.
Oh,
and
wow.
also that poster was not actually a poster of Toby Spider-Man. It was a poster of the Spider-Man from the game, from the video game, because they couldn't actually use Toby. Even though Sony, I think there was a whole thing about that. It's like Marvel Studios, because they knew what they were doing with Spider-Man No Way Home. They're like, you cannot use Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in this film, like any likeness to him. It has to be from one of the video games, which is they're all made by Sony, so they own all of that. Honestly, I was going into this film really like, I was actually quite excited to see more of Michael Keaton. I was expecting there to be a scene between Morbius and Vulture, with the Vulture being in prison. And I was expecting the Vulture to be like, because there's a line in one of the trailers where he's like, where Michael Keaton's Vulture obviously talking to Morbius, being like, "Are you the good guy or so along those lines of being like, are you a good or are you bad? You got to decide which side you're on, or sort of thing." I can't exactly remember the line. Someone needs to, but it was that gist. And I was hoping to see that. I was hoping Morbius to be in prison, and also, what a stupid thing to do. Put a guy that's clearly like sucking blood out of people in prison with other people, other human beings. It's the dumb. You immediately have to put him into some sort of like, I was like, nothing that the people, that nothing makes sense in this movie. Everyone's fucking dumb.
With no windows.
Yeah, they have a great big window in his cell. And also, like, I'm sorry, but what's his face? The guy that plays the cop that's supposed to be like the intelligent cop, Tyrese Gibson.
Yeah,
I'm like also Tyrese Gibson at one point almost like beats Morbius, because I think he has like a metallic arm or something. But they don't really make that very clear that he.
Did Tyrese Gibson cry?
Tyrese Gibson lost his arm in the Gulf War, and he had Michael Morbius to thank for the fake blood that helped save his arm.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's why he had a.
But
I was. No, he didn't cry. But I was just like, these two cops are so stupid. Like, I was just like, they see, like, there's a scene. I suppose it's quite funny, but there's a scene where the other cop comes in, he puts holy water on the table. I actually really wanted to see him throw it on him and see what would happen. But there are lots of elements in this film that it's like the whole vampire thing, the whole vampire shtick is just thrown out the window because Morbius can walk around in sunshine and it's no problem. I'm pretty sure the living vampire can't do that in the comics. I think he's a creature of the night, and he's also constantly changed. He's constantly in that Morbius look, whereas in this film they're like, I'm pretty sure Jared Leto was like, no, I want to look like myself for at least like 2/3 of the film. And then there's the kind of obligatory superhero topless shot scene in this where he's like in the boat and he sees himself in the reflection. He's all buff and everything. It's like
he's all jacked.
Yeah, it's just so, oh dear. And Raj says this sounds like it's on Birds of Prey Wonder Woman 1984 level. I stand by Birds of Prey. I think Birds of Prey is not a bad movie.
I finally watched it a couple months ago and I was like, wow, this is good.
There are some incredible scenes in that movie. The scene where she goes into the police station where Margot Robbie's that's just a brilliant scene. And there's nothing like that in this movie. Wonder Woman 1984 is a pile of dog shit. I will give you that. That movie is awful. I would actually say Wonder Woman 1984 is worse than Morbius because because of the level of like the pedigree behind it. Like Patty Jenkins, a great director. I really like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but that film was awful, like so bad.
Yeah,
This film was never going to be good. Let's be honest about it. Morbius was never going to be a good movie. Like from the minute they like said Jared Leto playing Morbius, I was like, oh no. And then they said Daniel Espinosa directing. Oh no. Like it's just thing after
been good.
No,
It
not
could have
with
been
not with
good.
the people involved.
I think it could have been good. Like
Literally,
I don't know if,
one of the writers wrote one of the worst movies of all time, Gods of fucking Egypt. Literally, and Dracula Untold he wrote, and the Power Rangers movie, and The Last Witch Hunter. So it's like literally just dud after dud this guy's written. So it's like, and let's name him Burke Sharpless. Wow. Burke Sharpless. This guy's made up. I'm sorry. It's an actual writer, a Hollywood writer called Burke Sharpless.
I'm trying to find a good joke out of
Alan Smithy.
Sharpless.
He wrote some of the episodes for the Lost in Space series on Netflix, which is all right, but that's as good as it gets for him. And then the other guy is also wrote they write everything together. These two, Matt Shazama.
There's another thing that was bothering me about this movie is there's a scene where he ends up paired up in the kids' hospital with Matt Smith and their kids. It wasn't Matt Smith, It was the young actor. And they're sitting in there and they're talking. They're like, okay, I guess we're roommates now. And they're talking and stuff. And then the other kid starts to get sick and fall over. And like, oh no, something's wrong. And he just goes and opens this box that's basically pumping a dialysis machine or something. He just goes over, opens it up, and then pulls out the fuse, and then busts open a pen and pulls the spring out and sticks it in there. Like he didn't have time to look at it and be like, hey, is the dialysis machine not working? He didn't check the display. He just immediately just went, just like, oh no. Okay. You're fixed. You're good. And I was like, it's like, unless that's happens to him like once a week, so he knows.
Part of his superpower.
Yeah, and then later it happens again later. He ends up going into a what's a counterfeit print press lab, and he just takes a gear off of this thing and then goes and sets it in here and then like grabs something. Well, here's a microphone. I'll just set that on there, and then it's like he's got a thing to make a centrifugal force lab thing to to pull plasma out or whatever. I'm like, really? You just made that out of a printing press and like it's a bubble gum? Like what is this, MacGyver or Morbius? Like what's going on here? That really annoyed me because if they gave it like 90 seconds for him to fiddle around with things, maybe solder something, but he didn't even solder anything. It was just like, okay, take this off and we're going to set that there, and we'll set this watch on here, and now we have a device. You know what I mean? Like there's no sense of any kind of like reality. I was like, that's not even how mechanics works. Like what the hell? Sorry, if you see the movie, you'll know what I mean.
I thought Clint likes everything.
I do, but like, dude, just give us 30 seconds of fiddling with something. Just 30 seconds. There was like no time. It was like the fastest construction of gadgets you've ever seen.
That scene when I was Morbius. That scene, I was watching that going, literally, all this is ridiculous. First off, it's that whole scene starts off with him being in a coffee shop with his she's not his girlfriend, like his colleague, his work colleague. And then two people come in and they're like, hey, to the teller in the thing, hey, take these bills. And she's like, I can't take them, they're fake. She does something to them. And then they're like, there's another one. And then she takes them. And he's with his super hearing. He can hear this all happen. I'm like, and then he's like, I've got a plan. So he follows them. And then they just happen to have this fake money printing press, as if there would be this in the real world. They're obviously like, when they're writing this, they were thinking the Matt Shazam, whatever his name is, and Burke, Matt and Burke were going, dude, we need to get him another lab. How do we do that? It's like, hey, what's made in the lab? Fake money.
Counterfeit money.
Counterfeit money.
What?
He literally could have done anything. He could have gone into hospital. Like, but no. What they're going to do is make this fake money lab, and then the way he just walks in. He just walks in and then breaks the guy's hand. And then they're like, well, we're not dealing with you. And then they leave. And I'm like, this is so dumb. Everything about this scene is, I think it was from that moment when I was like, oh, this movie's lost it for me.
Tommy Wiseau would have done a better job.
It would have been a better Morbius.
They needed to establish that they were bad guys so you could justify him kicking their ass, because so far they've got him being a hero. So they're like, how do we make these guys terrible criminals that should be hurt? Because, we can excuse the thugs that he killed at the beginning, and now we need to excuse what he's about to do to these guys. So what about counterfeiters?
How about some white collar crime?
Yeah, they're like, how about counterfeiter? These guys look like drug dealer kind of dudes, but yeah, then they're, well, I can't take a fake 100. Well, how about if I give you two? It's okay. Don't tell anybody. And then he's like, hold on, I've got something to do. I just heard something with my super hearing. Yeah. Sneaks into the shut down mall and goes in and then it was really funny though, and he was like breaking his hand
and telling him which bones he was breaking.
Oh, and that bone is called the blah blah blah. He was breaking all of his fingers, and he's like, "Don't worry, ibuprofen and some ice. You'll be okay in 6 weeks."
Yeah, he tells him in 6 weeks he'll be fine. He's broken every hand in every bone in his hand. He's like, you'll be fine in 6 weeks. Just take some ibuprofen. I was like, I've broken bones in my hand. It does not take 6 weeks, and ibuprofen doesn't work. You need to put that shit in a cast.
These guys are skateboarding teenage thugs. They justify getting their ass kicked by a grown-ass man with vampire powers. Yeah, it was pretty silly, and that's when he starts becoming a super mechanic after that.
He just opens the printing press. He's like, oh, this is a circular thingy. It spins around. I can make a centrifugal force machine out of this.
He also says, hey, you can keep the money.
Sorry,
I just
Clint,
need.
Hold on.
Am I too loud?
What does he make out of the printing press?
He makes this, there's
one of those
spinny
centrifuge.
The centrifuge, yeah. So you can put his little vials in them, and then create his little.
Yeah, so he like, those big giant printers that print that print in rolls.
My dad was a pressman. That's hilarious. So
yeah, so he takes the gears. He takes a gear out of the end. Boink, and then he looks at it and he's like, that'll work. And then he walks over to this other thing and he's like, oh, that'll work. And he just kind of.
That's why they use the money laundering.
Yeah, and it fits perfectly in there. Like it's like they're designed for the gears to go into each other. And then he spins it. It spins, and he sticks a thing in there. Sticks a Sharpie, a sharpless. I'm just kidding. No, in the thing, and spins it, and then it's like, okay, oh yeah, that'll work perfect as a centrifuge. I'll be able to do lots of science here at the mall.
Honestly, this is like it's taken them, probably years to write this script. And then that's the best shit they can come up with. I was actually, when I was watching, I was like, why doesn't he just go into a hospital? Like, I know that I'm pretty sure that like he can go in at night. A lot of hospitals have labs with those machines in them. It's like you don't need to create like a fake money laundering scheme. Like, there's literally a whole show that we've all just watched, we loved, called Reacher, which is all about money laundering. And that thing, it's complicated. There's not going to be a money laundering place in the middle of, I think they're in New York City, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and it's just bollock. The other thing that really pissed me off about this movie, so there was one thing I was watching it being like, okay, it's the final like third of the film, because they're trying to make it as though it's all taking place in New York City, but the final third of the film that takes place in there's a bit of it that takes place in the underground, in the metro thing. They're trying to make it seem as though it's New York's. It's clearly London, because I was like, this is the London underground. It's so recognizable. Definitely not New York. All they did was they put stickers on the walls to make it seem like New York, and one of them is like a half off, and because I was getting really anal about this because I was like, this is really bothering me, and it bothered me so much because I spent years taking the Underground in London.
Brother,
I know. And
Try
I've watched movies where they're based in New York, and I know what the system looks like there as well.
Try living in Toronto and near Toronto. First episode of Titans I watched. I'm like, wait, that's Burlington Street in Hamilton, and then a bus comes down, and it's a Hamilton bus, but they just put Chicago on it, like a little Chicago lower third. Yeah, you'll see like the Toronto subway and almost everything. So I feel your pain.
I know it really annoyed me, and I was just like, I don't know why. I know it shouldn't have done, but I was like, it's the thing that takes you out of the movie completely. And you're like, it's just so. It's like what so I was just like, oh, whatever. Like by the end, and the whole thing just turns into a CGI nightmare at the end anyway.
Why do they do that? That's so
Matt
annoying.
Smith probably was like, I'm not going to the United States for this. Y'all are coming
but
here.
Matt Smith used to live in the same area, or still does live in the area that I used to live in East London. So I'd see him quite regularly in a pub. Literally, there's one of these pubs where I used to sit. I saw Jake Gyllenhaal there with Phoebe Waller-Bridge once. You can go on my Twitter feed. I took a picture of them. I didn't know it was Phoebe Waller-Bridge at the time because I didn't know who she was.
You didn't talk to them?
I was covered in sweat. We just played football, so I was like, I'm not going to go up to Jake Gyllenhaal. But Matt Smith used to come in there with his dog all the time, and he was very, very nice. You could approach him, and he talked to everybody because everyone knew him because he's Doctor Who, and everyone loved him. But I'm pretty sure he's like, I am not leaving East London. Like, if we do this movie. Yeah, if we do this scene, I'm going to do it next to my house.
Did you notice he was wearing like New Balance the whole time?
The whole time. And they make such a big deal about it. Yeah, he looks terrible. I was like, there's a scene where he's trying to pick up this girl, and I was like, the very first thing I would do is like, dude, what's up with your shoes?
Get rid of those trainers, man.
Yeah, they're really old, and he's like makes a whole deal about dressing nicely, but he still has the trainers on. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Matt Smith being like, these are the only shoes I'll wear. Like, I'm not going to wear anything else. I can't be bothered. But it's a shame because I really did think there was a lot of Matt Smith does a lot of good in this film when it's Matt Smith. Then when they automatically start changing him into like Lost Boys vampire. But they look bad. Like it's just like, and I liked the reveal scene though, where like Morbius realizes what's his name, Milo has done. I did like that scene. I thought that was a cool. Good scene. But honestly, like they have, you can only go so far. Like the actors is like literally not even a third of what of what makes a good film really. A lot of it is all in the story, and this story was all over the place, and the direction was bad. Honestly, like there are so many films that just end up becoming like just a dark mess of a movie at the end. I think they tried to make this film look a little bit more interesting with the way the vampires move. They make them move a bit like, is it Nightcrawler? They looked a lot like, the way they move. They make them look a lot like Nightcrawler. But also the other thing I was like, there's a whole scene when the end of it is Matt Smith's character is basically killing Morbius's girlfriend, and Morbius has to use his echo, whatever his hearing, super hearing. But thankfully enough for the final scene, Morbius has taken the time to get himself a nice cool vampire-looking jacket with purple lining. And I was watching this at the end. He spent the whole film like wearing like shit hoodies and shit, but then the final sequence, he's all dressed up nice for the final sequence. Not even
earned, eh?
Yeah, and he gets his ass kicked in the literally. He gets his like stomach like split open, and then somehow manages to beat him by controlling all the bats. But then I was like, but surely like Matt Smith could do that sort of thing as well, because they both had the same serum. So I was like, that didn't make any sense to me either. And
they did say
like nothing made sense. But okay, so
Matt Smith hadn't made friends with the bats. He was like, dude, they've taken me in as one of their own. He went into that chamber, and they loved him in there. Like,
yeah, maybe it's because
every bat in the world.
Well, all
He's one of them.
the vampire bats that he stole from Peru or something. I love the beginning of this film as well, where he goes
hold
to
on,
this.
hold on. We've been talking about this for an hour. Do you guys want to sum up the final thoughts?
I could
We
talk about
probably
this.
should move.
Yeah. It's as I put it's this for maybe I would put it lower maybe now if having thoughts about it a bit, but I gave it a 6 because I did like the beginning, and I thought there was potential there, but it just fell apart completely by the end, and the post credit scenes were terrible. Yeah, 30 seconds of much. They're devoted. Those fans, I have to say.
Would you give it out of 10, Clint?
I would give it, I think 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6 or 6.5.
No,
It's
seven's
like
good. Like,
it's like you took, like the actors were good, like the cast was good. It's almost like you took man, it's like you gave a race one of the greatest race car drivers ever, like a 93 a Honda Accord, Honda Civic, and had him go race the Indy 500 or something. Like, here you go. It's like these actors, they're good. They had good presence about them, and they were dramatic and they acted well. It's like they kind of did good with what they had to work with. It's just, I think there was just bad writing, bad direction. And yeah, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I've noticed online, and I completely agree with you, Clint. Like, but I've noticed online there's a weird, like, very vocal support group for this movie. They call themselves like.
Edward. It's April Fool's Day. That's why.
But are you sure? Because they call
it's April Fool's Day.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know anymore because
yeah.
I've noticed like the hashtag Morbius sweep. Or something is trending.
I swear it's April Fool's Day. Wait till tomorrow and see if that's still active.
Dude, okay. I swear it's like this movie was not a good movie, but it wasn't bad. Like it's like I didn't hate it. I almost want to see it again just to see what.
No.
It's not like I've seen movies where I'm like, that was just awful, and that was just time I'll never get back. I almost want to see this to like dissect it and see how it could have been made better, because it's like there's some good parts, but it just, like, I don't know, it's just put together poorly.
Well, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I haven't seen it yet, and I'll reserve judgment until I see it. All right, moving on. Can we plug this quick?
Yes.
Yeah, let's.
Well, go ahead.
That looks. Well,
there's Morbius there. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got James and we got Edward in there. If y'all haven't, am I supposed to plug this right now? Is that what we're doing? Guys, if you haven't seen this yet on our social media or on my YouTube channel, we did. I wrote a song and recorded it a while back because we were having fun talking about who's going to be in Doctor Strange 2, and I made a song about it, and then I played it for these guys, and James was like, "Dude, I will pay you if you let me help you make the video," because I was starting to piece together a crappy video, and with the help of friends, we made a awesome video out of this. And all I could speak for is the song that I recorded, but the video is really fun, and there's a lot of Easter eggs, and it's really fun, and we worked hard on it. So I hope you like it, and I hope it helps with the excitement of getting ready for Doctor Strange 2, because I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for Morbius. We got that out of my system. Now I'm looking to the future for Doctor Strange 2. So who's gonna be in Doctor Strange 2?
Yeah. So after the stream, go check it out.
Yeah, go check it out
at the end of the stream.
Yeah, it's really, really good. You can find it also. You can find it on all your social media channels, can't you, Clint?
Yeah, it's on all of them. And you guys at Small Screen have been really, really nice about supporting me on this thing and posting them on all of the Small Screen socials too. Yeah. So thank you for all of that support.
So I've noticed it's Mephisto. Yeah, maybe he's in Morbius. Yes, and hit that like, subscribe buttons, and quack that notification bell. Do it now. I noticed that the video's been doing pretty well on Twitter. It's got over almost 2,000 views. So,
cool!
It's more than that now. It's like,
is it more than that? Yeah.
Cool.
So share it.
Yeah.
Like it, share it, love it, and then let's all theorize about who's going to be in Doctor Strange 2. But we won't. I don't think we'll do that tonight because we've done that before. Should we talk about the other big release of the week, which was Moon Knight?
Moon Knight.
Yeah. What did you guys make of Moon Knight?
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good first episode. Didn't get too heavy into the origin, and I like Oscar Isaac's take on it. Some of the directing was good. There was, that classic, hey, this is Disney Plus Marvel, so here's some bad green screen in a car, but that's okay.
Oh yeah.
But and then like the whole Epcot village, using the small town that Oscar Isaac ends up in. If you notice, it's the same village from Hostel. It's on Disneyland. That's where they shot it. You can totally tell. But yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. Oscar Isaac was great. It maybe very straddling the line with his performance of a little bit over the top, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
What about you, Clint?
I really enjoyed it, but I enjoy everything. But no, like I thought it was really good. I think it's interesting playing a character that is has multiple characters inside them. It's like it's really fun to watch, much like Tatiana Maslany does on that other show. But it was really fun. I really like that they don't start building the world from the beginning and doing the old origin story. They just kind of drop you in the middle of the adventure, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Everything makes sense, but you're like, and it's kind of puts you in a state of his mind, because he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because he keeps blacking out and things happen when he's not conscious, so it's pretty cool. I almost said not conscious, just kidding. But yeah, I totally enjoyed it. I really liked Ethan Hawke in this too. There's a scene in the beginning, like just while they're doing the credits and all that, and that has to do with Ethan Hawke's shoes. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. I don't want to spoil it if anybody hadn't seen it, but yeah, it's good. I'm really excited. And there's not really a lot to talk about after. It's just a bunch of chasing and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And they're slowly unwrapping this thing, and you're understanding. And there's a big kind of reveal at the end where you're like, okay, it's more of a reveal to him of what's going on here, and which is exciting. I can't wait for next week. So
I think it marks a really interesting new kind of tonal shift, I think, for the MCU, because you can tell that it's like it has that kind of Marvel-esque vibe about it, but it's definitely more there's a lot more kind of horror elements in it. I think there's a lot more it aligns quite nicely, I think, with WandaVision, actually, because there's a bit of that in WandaVision as well. But there's that scene with, is it Khonshu? Is that how you pronounce his in the corridor, which I really love that. I love that scene. I mean, I'm going to have to say it. His English accent is a bit jarring, but then it's kind of meant to be because he's not actually British. It's like it's a persona that he's taken on. He's created this character, the character of Stephen Grant. My name's Stephen with a V. He does a lot of that. It's like, all right, later skaters. It's very kind of very. It's almost a bit like Dick Van Dyke, in Mary Poppins.
It reminded me of like Tom Holland's attitude and portrayal of Peter Parker, like the kind of aloof, like later gators and kind of trying to be cute and stuff,
I think he's
appeal.
I don't know. I think this character is borderline like on the spectrum. I think there's an element of that with him. I think. Is
he going for like Cockney with that?
Yeah, it's like it's kind of East London. It's an attempt to do, but it's funny though, because if you should go and check out an interview he did on Radio 1 with Ali Plumb. And Ali Plumb is quite a famous movie critic / review interviewer in the UK, and he is very like at London, and he's like, and he asked him, he said, "How much time did you spend in the UK filming Moon Knight?" And Oscar Isaac was like, 0 hours. They didn't spend any time in the UK whatsoever. And he's like, And Oscar Isaac did not want to talk about the accent. Like, you can tell in that interview, he did not want to talk about it because I think there's going to be that in like the first maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and then it kind of it'll get phased out pretty quickly. I think Stephen is going to be a character that will eventually become a side character quite quickly. I think because he's often referred to as the idiot. I think there's an element of protectionism going on with them. I think that he is kind of, Mark Spector is using that persona to protect himself. I think there might be an element of that as well. I also want to know who the hell he's calling throughout this whole episode. It makes it sound as though it's his mum. I don't think it's his mum. I think there's someone else involved, and also because he's getting postcards from somebody. Unless that's Mark Spector himself, like he set all this up. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in this first episode, and I really like Oscar Isaac's performance in it. I think Ethan Hawke is terrific as the villain, and I'm forgetting his name at the moment. Can't remember his name, but I also really love the story of how they gave Ethan Hawke how he got the role. I don't know if you heard the story, Clint, about how Ethan Hawke got the role.
Didn't Oscar Isaac just say, "Hey, you want to be in this with me?" Like that's what I heard.
He came up to him in a coffee shop, and Ethan Hawke didn't know it was Oscar Isaac because everyone were wearing masks, and Ethan Hawke Oscar Isaac complimented Ethan Hawke's latest. He's in a movie that's coming out. That came out last year that he said, "I thought you were great in that," and he's like, "Oh, thank you very much." He goes, "Do you want to be in Moon Knight?" it's like just literally just offered him the role there and then apparently they sent him the scripts later that day, and then he was like, "Oh, it's Mohammed Diab that's doing this movie. Yeah, I'll do it." And because they were actually going to make a movie together, Ethan Hawke and Mohammed Diab were going to make a film together, and he had to step away from the film because he'd got this gig doing the new Marvel series. I think it was a really cool story. I love the fact that Ethan Hawke's in a Marvel property.
I think.
Wow.
Did he know that it was Oscar Isaac when he said, "Hey, do you want to be in this show with me?" Or because the way it just sounded like he's wearing a mask, he had no idea.
Yeah, he didn't know who he was. He didn't know who he was until like they got talking. Like when he's like, "What? Who the hell are you? What's Moon Knight?" It's like he said, "I thought it sounded cool, so I said, yeah, I'll do it." Like the name, just the name alone, Moon Knight.
That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I really Arthur Harrow. Yeah, I really do think this has a lot of potential, this show, and there are a lot of people talking about whether this is going to be like a one and done thing. I know that there have been stories about Oscar Isaac saying that I've only signed on to do this one thing, but I think Moon Knight's going to be actually quite important moving forward in the MCU. I think Kevin Feige has got big plans for this character, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Oscar Isaac. And Oscar Isaac is a massive geek and loves this stuff. And I'm pretty sure he will want to play this role for as long as he can. This is very lucrative for him as well. So I think we're going to see, if not Moon Knight season 2, we'll definitely see like either a movie or him in a future like team up movie.
Oh yeah.
Did
you
get
invest all this for this one character, and then that'll be one and done?
Yeah.
Did anybody get Venom vibes when he started talking to himself?
So I got Fight Club.
Yeah, I got more Fight Club than Venom. I think that I really think I don't like those Venom's sequences. I think Tom Hardy's voice as Venom is a bit too silly. I don't know. I think this is it felt a bit more interesting to me. There were. I know what you're alluding to. I think there are similarities, but I like the fact that Steven does not know what's going on. I love seeing his rituals, like his like tying himself to a post when he goes to sleep, having to listen to that the No Sleep podcast, and not the No Sleep. It's another No Sleep podcast is something else. But he listens to a podcast doing Rubik's Cubes, and there are loads of Easter eggs, I think, in this episode. Apparently, the gold man he talks to is actually quite an important character in Moon Knight mythology, which I didn't know. I was like, what? Okay, fine. Apparently he's like one of Moon Knight's closest allies or something. So yeah, he might become quite important later on in the show. I think there's a lot of stuff going on that we've seen in this first episode, but we don't really know what it is, which is going to be interesting.
Like WandaVision, we're going to be unpacking this for a while.
Yeah,
which is cool, which is fun.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Henry Cavill Superman to be replaced by Sasha Calle Supergirl. Notice I just got rid of all the possessives in that title because I was like, SEO, it's not working. No, but yeah, apparently the story is crazy that people have come up with. So it's from Screen Geek. I love this. Right? They're saying that.
Is this April Fool's?
No, it's not. This came out a couple of days ago, so it's not. So what they're saying, go up a bit. Is that so the film, The Flash, and James, you're annoying me now. Stop it! Stop! Just stop there! Stop! Right? No, stop. Okay. The report says that Sasha Calle Supergirl will become like the main Kryptonian in the DCEU, so like the only one basically. And they said that what's going to happen is that the Flash, in the Flash's movie timeline, it'll reboot the DCEU and it'll establish the Kryptonian villain. It'll establish that Zod killed Cavill Superman as a baby.
That's like a Deadpool 2 post-credit scene with Hitler.
Yeah, that is exactly what I asked. When I read that, I was like, what? I was like, this is insane. If they do this, like, SnyderVerse fans all over the world will revolt. It will be insane.
So ain't gonna do that.
I think that's that. I said that doesn't sound like it's something they'll do. Even Warner Brothers wouldn't do something that nasty.
That's like
killing
Hamada
a baby.
lighting the house on fire while he walks out.
I'd love it if they have it. I'd love it if they had it as like a just a one-off scene of just Zod like holding a baby by its like just killing a baby in the background of a scene. It's like,
Hamada burger, Hamada spoon.
yeah.
You like how this feels?
Yeah, and it would just be in the background of a scene, and then they just continue on to the movie. I think that'd be hilarious.
I think it's bunk.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think if they're going to reference Cavill again, especially since he's reportedly in talks for Man of Steel 2 down the line. I think if they're going to reference him, they'll give him a good send off. They're not just going to like kill him off screen, but not even off screen. It'll be like just a baby. Like, come on, it sounds way too far fetched.
I think but I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, but do you think like the Rock's agent, which is Cavill's agent, you think like the Rock would have something to say about this too, right?
Well, I actually think she's not going to be Cavill's agent for much longer.
No.
I think she dropped the ball on, or maybe not her, but whoever's in his team have really dropped the ball with Superman, because it's unusual, it's bizarre. The whole thing is strange that you've got Gal Gadot still doing Wonder Woman, you've got
Momoa
still doing
maybe Ezra.
Fucking Ezra Miller is still involved. It's like it's insane. This thing's been going on for years now with Ezra Miller. What the hell has Henry Cavill done? He's just been really good PR for them.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, maybe he's. The only thing I can think of is that he's just too expensive, which is understandable as well. If they want to cut some costs, then maybe Cavill would be one of the costs they want to cut, because he'd be more expensive. And they wouldn't, but that's the thing, they wouldn't do it that way.
I think his portrayal and not necessarily his portrayal, but the way the movies were, maybe Zack Snyder's portrayal of Superman was too serious and alien guy, and I think the executives are like, yeah, we kind of like, this guy is not. They want somebody that's like Gal Gadot, that glows like truth, justice, and goodness, and he's more of a serious, introspective Superman. Not they want a male version of Wonder Woman that because like old school Superman had that. You know what I mean? It was like good to everyone and out there, and it was like it wasn't a serious brooding
but
Superman.
I saw a post the other day that compared Superman Returns to Man of Steel, and like Superman Returns is like got criticized for Brandon Ruth copying Christopher Reeves too much, for being too hopeful, not enough action scenes. And then like Man of Steel was like got criticized for not copying Christopher Reeves, got criticized for too many action scenes, that kind of thing. So I feel like that's what the execs think, though, is that like we need a Wonder Woman like Superman. You know what I mean? Not that everybody likes, like the Avengers. You know what I mean? And everybody is like a good Iron Man kind of a guy, not a brooding Superman. He's just not right. He's a good looking guy. He's buff. He looks like Superman, but he's just not right. I feel like they feel like that. Like, okay, you had your chance. We had you in for a few movies, and now we need somebody else. No, not even a chance. Like if the studio
I
just
agree.
had faith in Snyder's vision to complete his arc, then it would have gotten to that. Like we watch our SnyderVerse videos, we talk about that. Like it starts, and they're trying to find their way in the world, and then they become more hopeful towards the end, and it would have been great. But the execs just have no patience.
I agree completely, and that's just my impression, and I'm just spitballing here, but that's my impression of what they probably think by like the decisions that they've made, and the you know what I mean, like if they'd just made another one, like it would have been fine. You know what I mean? You could have taken him on that journey of becoming the hero, figuring out the way the world is, and then he keeps trying to be better and keep helping people, and then all of a sudden you have the Superman you want. But anyway,
I'm going to say something that's probably going to be quite unpopular, but I'll say it anyway. I think Henry Cavill Superman is just too tied to Zack Snyder, whereas that's the main problem I think with this, is that he's literally, without Zack Snyder, that Henry Cavill would have never got the role, because he literally cast him in the role. He almost forced Warner Brothers to make him Superman, which I think was the right decision to take at the time. Right? Yeah, well, I think it was really Snyder said he sent a picture of him to Nolan, and Nolan was like, "Oh yeah, he's perfect." But then there's the fact that I don't think Snyder quite understands Superman, and I like Man of Steel, but I do think there's an element and it kind of seeped into Batman versus Superman as well, is that Snyder looked at Superman and just thought, this character is a god. I am going to portray him as a god. Whereas Superman at his core, he's a Kryptonian, but one of the things that makes him actually, I do think there's elements of Superman's character that's quite boring, but I do think one of the things that makes him interesting is the fact that he literally portrays all the best qualities of humanity, and that element isn't present in Henry Cavill Superman to begin with.
They were leading up to that.
Yeah, they were leading up to that. But this is the thing that I think they're going to take a big 180 with the character of Superman, and they are doing that with Sasha Calle. I think they're going to do something a bit more traditional with the character, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're just thinking, we just need to get away from this as far as we can. And one of the reasons why they're continuing with the other versions of the characters is because they weren't as attached to Zack Snyder. Like, Jason Momoa's Aquaman was directed by James Wan. That did very well on its own. Patty Jenkins directed the Wonder Woman films. Yes, they were all part of that DCEU universe, which Snyder was a big part of. But I really do think bridges were burnt between Snyder and Warner Brothers executives, and they just want to make sure that things are as separate as they possibly can be moving forward. And that's one of the reasons why Henry Cavill might not be coming back as Superman. I honestly, I'd be surprised if he comes back at this point. And this is just me, because I haven't had any information about this for quite some time. Everything's gone very quiet. with Henry Cavill. He's been keeping himself incredibly busy, which is great for him. But there's something about this. I don't believe the baby stuff in this, but I've been hearing a lot of similar reports of, you know, Sasha Calle being the main kind of Kryptonian superhero moving forward in the DC universe, the future of the DC universe. I don't even know how long this is going to continue. Like, given how popular the Batman's been, I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers just ditches this entirely and just says, we're not going to. I would not be surprised if Wonder Woman 3 doesn't happen, given everything that's been going on with Patty Jenkins, and the fact that Patty Jenkins' next project is Cleopatra, I think, isn't it? Her next project. She's doing that, and then the one that she's doing after that still is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So I'm not even sure if Wonder Woman 3 is going to happen.
Is she still tied to the Rogue Squadron?
Squadron. Well, I was actually doing research into this the other day because I was like, is that still happening? And that is still on the docket. That is still after Cleopatra, that's the next thing that Patty Jenkins is down to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if she just ditches Wonder Woman altogether. One of the reasons why is because, I mean, Wonder Woman 3 has been announced. There's no release date. Oh, no, she's not doing Cleopatra. Is that just Gal Gadot that's doing Cleopatra? Yeah. Her next thing is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. That's her next project. Cleopatra, she's producing. She's not directing.
I don't think Patty Jenkins will be back, but I think like the Flash film will tie all the multiverse stuff together and leave the door open for that universe.
But we're saying this, but given everything that's going on with Ezra Miller, do we even think that they're going to do anything else with that character moving forward?
But who knows if they'll do anything with Ezra Miller or the Flash? But as far as Aquaman goes, and you know, those characters, and I can still see them using it. Like the Flash is about the multiverse, and you know, they're leaving the door open for Affleck, right? They're Aquaman's there, so
they're gonna edit the movie where Flash sacrificed himself and stayed in the Speed Force, got stuck in there, and saved Ben Affleck, that's how they'll write him out of the thing. And then all of a sudden Michael Keaton will just materialize somewhere, and he'll be like, "Hey, is this? Am I real? What's going on?" Yeah.
I guess it was something to do with Superman.
I guess
Spider-Man.
I guess
which one is it again?
Vodka. No, we haven't forgot the merger is coming. A couple weeks ago, Mike was on the show, and like the last half an hour, I talked to him about it.
I want everyone to stop talking about the merger.
1 second. Even when the merger happens, you still have to be patient because you're not going to hear anything about it till at least fandom or even after that, and you probably won't get it. We probably won't get anything for like 2 to 5 years in the Snyder, like when it comes to SnyderVerse or anything like that. And we all have to wait to see what the Flash happens.
Can I say one
thing
of the
merger? There's no evidence. Like, Sarnoff is going or has gone, but Hamada's contract's up next year anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So he's gone. Who knows? Toby Emmerich is a huge power player in Hollywood, so he could still stick around.
A shit ton of Oscars.
Yeah. So his contract, who knows when that's up, and he could still stick around for a long time. The merger's not going to solve everything. All right. And once the merger hits April 11th or mid-April or whatever, it's still going to take a while. So you just got to set your expectations. And if you want, go back, or Vodka, I'll send it to you on Twitter. Like when I talked to Mikey about this, we had a logical, realistic conversation about setting expectations. The merger is not going to solve everything right now. Sorry about it. But I really do think the Flash film in the multiverse leaves the door open for the Snyderverse to continue. But even if the merger, say the merger's going to go through mid-April, you have contracts, you have negotiations, you have salaries, you have scheduling, you have pre-production, you have scripts. Like, we're talking 3 to 5 years, man. Like, it's not going to be magic on April 11th when Zaslav comes in, and Zaslav hasn't even made a public statement. We're just going all by insider stories right now. So he likes to make money, but a lot of these are like looking at his track record. And DC films, the old regime, like to make money too, and that's why they changed Zack Snyder's Justice League to Justice League, and look what happened. So Zaslav loves the Marvel money. Like, there's another side of that coin. You got to be a little bit afraid that you know, like if he wants to maybe emulate the Marvel formula, that's a bit scary too. There's all these different avenues that could happen, that will happen, that might happen. And it's not just going to be magically overnight that after the merger, Snyderverse is going to be restored. So
I actually think
I want it to happen.
I think people have got to be very cautious about Zaslav, because the more I look into him, the more I'm not sure if he's actually good news for people that want the Snyderverse to continue, because this guy has got a history of just making very cheap television. Like that's what Discovery is. Discovery, like they've made money from making very cheap television, and the guy likes to keep budgets down. That's what he does. Dude, he does it very well.
Yeah, look, nobody's saying will happen overnight. Kazakhs, every time we talk about the Snyderverse, everyone's like, wait till the merger. Did you forget about the merger? Like, look, did you forget about the merger? The execs will get the axe. How do we know the execs are going to get the axe? And Dave wants to turn it. We don't know.
That's not what I heard. I heard Zaslav's going to I heard he's going to fire everybody. He's firing everybody, and he's going to take over and direct all of the movies himself. And he's going to run DC Films. And most importantly, Zaslav's going to be in Doctor Strange 2. I heard it.
Yeah. Did you put it in your song?
I wish I'd have stuck Zaslav in Doctor Strange 2. Damn it. I wish we'd have put him in the video. That would be good. Yeah.
Well, every time we talk about the Snyderverse, it's always about the merger. You know,
dude,
it's not.
It's good to have hope, though. You know what I mean? Like we all want to see our favorite properties go into way.
I want it as just as much as the next guy, but you gotta set your expectations, right?
Yeah.
I mean that is what the S stands for. It stands for hope. So everyone should be hopeful for the return. All I'm saying is that there is a reason why we haven't heard about a Henry Cavill return yet. Maybe one of the best things I think that could happen is that Henry Cavill turns up in the Flash movie and has a cameo in that film. And then that would be brilliant, because that means that they're still thinking about this character, and the character's still in their heads, in their minds, and they still want to do something with him. If he isn't in the film, it doesn't mean that they've stopped thinking about him, but it makes me wonder a bit more, like whether we're really ever going to get to see him return. And I mean, I'd love to see him come back because I'm a massive Henry Cavill fan, but sometimes you've just got to. I just don't want people to get their hopes up and then be crushed when it doesn't happen.
If it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Sorry, if it doesn't happen. I did say when.
When it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Oh dear. I agree with Bakertown. How does he not feel insulted by all of this? I mean, it would be. I think actors are people that like to be told constantly that they're doing a good job. This would hurt. You know, he'd feel completely left out. I know I would if I was in that situation. But he said on multiple occasions that he wants to play him again.
Yeah, but I also think a lot of it is salary negotiations, money. Like, cause he could have easily done that Shazam cameo, but he wanted more money. That's what I heard, but it could be different.
I think it might have been scheduling conflicts as well with that, to be honest, because he was filming The Witcher, wasn't he, when he was doing that? And then I think one of the main problems is that actually is The Witcher takes so much time to film, and especially during the pandemic, the season 2 took a long time, and then season 3's been taking a long time as well. So it's he's tied himself to projects that are quite long and hard to make. Like I think he's going to start filming Highlander pretty soon. So that's going to be another couple of months where he will just be doing that, and then he just finished Enola Holmes 2. He's finished on Argyle, I think. Although now I'm hearing something weird about Argyle, is that he's barely in the movie. Which I was like, isn't he Argyle? I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
Okay, Vodka. When was the last time? I'm not saying Mikey's wrong. I don't know if you know, but I run Geekosity behind the scenes. I design the site. I talk to Mikey every day. But what he's been saying this on Sill Show, but it's all getting out of context and built up to the merger. you know. But when he was on our show a couple weeks ago, he had a very calm discussion, because I know things get pretty hyped up and pretty good times on Sil's show. We had a pretty logical discussion and calm discussion on here, and it was very realistic. And he did say nothing's going to happen right after the merger, and you know, and he was saying this is what he thinks, and even if his insiders didn't tell him, it's what he thinks Zaza would do. So just set your expectations. It's not gonna be happening overnight. That's all I'm saying. And I'll send you that link with time code so you can watch it.
Whenever I hear the name Zaslav, I always think of is it the lion in The Witch in the
Aslan.
Wardrobe?
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
Yeah.
I just was thinking that just a minute ago. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
hilarious.
it's
Yeah, anything,
people get very riled up about it.
yeah,
about
and
this,
anything like James said, anything that happens, it's not going to be overnight. We gotta wait and watch this thing unfold, and it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
I'd like to say there was another Justice League movie happening in June, you know, but that's definitely not going to happen. It's going to be years before we see any of this stuff.
But hey, it's all going to be okay, because we're going to get a Morbius 2, aren't we?
That's what
We're
I'm
going to
talking
get
about.
We're going to get Morbius 2. It's going to be
If we're
called
lucky.
Morbius. It's going to be called Morbius and the Vulture. I'm trying to think of a funny name. I can't think of anything like just Morbius and the Vulture. It's just,
Morbius
buddy
and the Vulture go Hawaii.
yeah, there you go.
No, I honestly think we'll
And
get
Paul
we'll get-
Giamatti is going to get sucked into it too.
I honestly think we'll get the Snyder iteration in the future. It'll happen.
Well,
it's
of
just going to be a
Morbius.
while.
That'd be fun. It's not Zack Snyder's Morbius. Oh god.
How's
It looks so bad, his hair.
I love it. I love it. It's my old hair from the mid 2000s.
It looks like Chet from Weird Science.
It does a bit. Yeah. Oh dear. Someone said Morbius 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's what I was thinking in my head, but I was like, everyone always comes up with that one. So, I was trying to think of something vampire related. But yeah, it's a hairpiece. He looks. I'm hoping that he's going to be in a lot of that movie. That's the only reason why I want to see that film. Is to see Henry Cavill play a spy. Yeah, Eraserhead. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, should we move on to some like the last bits of news?
Yeah, let's. There's some breaking Will Smith news. So you want to cover that first?
What, Will Smith breaking people?
What happened with Will? When did this happen?
He's still doing that bit.
What?
Yeah, he's
but
still doing
I'm
it.
Still doing it. Super weird.
Yeah, so everyone's bored of this now. Oh, is this actually happening? He's resigned from the academy.
Yeah, when we started the show, I saw this.
Oh my god! Oh.
Here's
What did his quote
statement.
say?
Here's a statement.
Do you want to read it, James?
Yeah, okay. I have directly responded to the Academy's disciplinary hearing notice, and I will fully accept any and all consequences for my conduct. My actions at the 94th Academy Awards presentations were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. The list of those I have hurt is long and includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends and loved ones, all those in attendance, and global audiences at home. I betrayed the trust of the Academy. I deprived other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. I am heartbroken. I want to put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to the incredible work it does to support creativity and artistry in film. So I am resigning from membership in the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate. Change takes time, and I'm committed to doing the work to ensure that I never again allow violence to overtake reason.
Wow. Wow.
Is this real or is this an April Fool's joke?
April Fools. Y'all can kiss my ass. That would be crazy. Wow.
I have to say, releasing this on April 1st is a bit.
Man, that's a tough one.
Let me check it out, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they joke about that.
I was
Variety
thinking.
covered it.
Yeah.
BBC, Guardian.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's not going to act anymore?
No, he's just not going to be eligible to
for awards
Oscars,
himself, or
yeah,
does
for
that mean
awards.
any movie
Because he's still part
in?
of SAG.
Okay. So any
Sources
movie
tell Variety that the organization's leaders never formally requested that he be ejected.
So he just
And
ejected
producer Will
himself.
Packer urged him to stay.
does that mean anything he's in is ineligible for like best picture because he's in it, or does that just mean he doesn't get an award and everybody else does?
No, he's not banned from the Oscars. He withdrew himself from the Oscars, so he can't be in any of the runnings for any of the categories, but the film still can be.
Cool.
Okay, so as far as he's concerned, though, he's got his Oscar. So it's like,
yeah, that's all he wanted. He's like,
that's all he wanted. That's
Oscars
all he
with
wanted.
He hated the Oscars before, and then now he got his Oscar, and now he can just F off.
Yeah, and just do whatever he wants. Basically, he doesn't have to. I really do think a lot of actors' decisions are based around that, and like being like, will this get me nominated? Will this get me my Oscar? And now he doesn't have to care. He can just do whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to do the whole rigmarole of everything they have to do come Oscar season. They do a lot of kissing butts, don't they, to try and get people to vote for them. So it's
well, he's got a long career of success, and he's done like super mainstream garbage movies and good movies and TV, and it's gone around. He owns Brookstone Entertainment, is this production company. He's got plenty of money. At some point, there's like, I mean, the critical acclaim and the awards is really what you're like. It's not like he's got to aspire one day to be an actor that's in the movies. He's been in everything. And so it's like at this point, it's like all you really have is going for roles that like Ethan Hawke would want to do. You know what I mean? Like Ethan Hawke is more of the artsy guy that now we're seeing him doing a mainstream Marvel thing. And you're like, whoa, he spent his whole career doing like smart roles and not
films.
Yeah, not just going for flat out entertainment and money making. This guy Will Smith's got all the money in the world and doesn't need to do mainstream films anymore. Like the only thing he doesn't have is critically acclaimed things, and now he's got an Oscar to look at. But it seems like at this point in his career, that's what he does feel like a punishment to me, because like, you know, is he going to be Tom Cruise running around until he's 60 doing his own stunts or something? Like I don't know. Am I off base here? You know what I mean? Like I'm
no.
It seems like he would want to just be doing like really intense dramatic roles at this point.
What I'm saying is that
I celebrity.
Maybe.
Do you think?
I think so. Yeah, because like from as soon as what happened at the Oscars, the HuffPost put out this piece that they already prepared in case he won, or even if he didn't win. It was about how him having to put up this front as a celebrity since he made it big, and then balancing the life, and now like the wall is breaking down. This is before the slap, by the way. They wrote it.
Okay.
And then I think they just added the slap stuff into it. But yeah, I think, and that was like an orchestrated PR move, or like someone from Will's camp helped that with the HuffPost, and like he's just tired of doing that, and he wants to be taken as a serious actor now, like you said, Clint. But I think he's just tired of being a celebrity. And especially, like, I didn't even know that Jada aired their open marriage and all that stuff before I found out that the next day after the Oscars. I don't pay attention to, like, celebrity gossip and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The only Kardashians I know are from Star Trek, so... but yeah, I just think he's tired of being a celebrity, and like, he just wants to act. And, I don't know, but there's no excuse for what he did, honestly, and it probably... And the Academy could have handled it better. And yeah, I thought it was staged until Smith started yelling at Rock for when he was sitting down again.
So that round table show that they had was pretty intense, man, because they just put all of their private stuff out into the public, and that's pretty wild. That's where they talked about their marriage and things, and also like he had some history with the original mom or Aunt Vivian on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that Aunt Viv, that they ended up not getting
really
along,
sad.
and they recast her, and
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
pretty much kind of screwed up her career for a lot of years. And so they had this weird beef kind of a thing going for years, and like they buried the hatchet. She went on the show, he apologized. I was a young, cocky kid at the time, and it was really neither of their faults and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, this is a crazy show that they're doing where they're like taking real things from his life, and he's trying to, have therapists and stuff, and he's trying to fix a lot of things in his own personal mental health and life. And I thought it was really interesting. But when you start digging into your marriage and you start having these things come out publicly, and I mean, there's got to be a point where you're like, hey, I'm done from the spotlight. The whole world knows everything about me, and then I just lost my composure on not even national, world television. The entire world saw him lose his composure. That's crazy. It's a wild spot. I wouldn't be surprised if he went into seclusion and just tried to reevaluate what's important. Because when you got all the money in the world, you're already famous. You've got everything. Like, what doesn't he have? He can do whatever the hell he wants. So he doesn't have to do anything. He can drink coffee for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and he can do whatever he wants now. If anyone's going to touch him, that's the thing. Is I think he might find it quite difficult for a few years to get some roles that he probably does want. But I mean, I've talked about it so much on small screen this week. It's Daniel Radcliffe was like, I'm bored of hearing people talk about it, which I thought was quite funny.
I was done with it half an hour after it was.
Yeah, well, I remember when I first saw it the morning after I woke, I was like, did this really happen? This, and I was listening to the joke, and I was like, I don't get it. I did not know that Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from alopecia. I didn't know about that. Apparently, she did talk about it on back in 2018. I to begin with, I was like, the joke was kind of mild, but then when you learn you learn about what's going on, like then you're like, oh, okay, maybe, like, but it's still no reason to go up and slap someone on live television and then shout at them afterwards.
There's been many jokes like that at the Oscars over the years.
Well, that's the thing, and they make their lives very public themselves.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things.
Clint was talking
about. And it's but that's where it all comes from. And like he did an interview with GQ where he was literally talking about, and this was not that, it was, I can't remember when it was, but it wasn't that long ago, and talking about his infidelities. But he was like, we weren't being, it wasn't really, they're not infidelities because we have this open marriage. Talking about his relationship, he has like multiple girlfriends. She has multiple people that she sleeps with as well. And it's like, it's just so weird to us because we're not in that environment. Maybe for them it's different. And I
don't know what you mean. I'm a celebrity. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean, dude?
But but like what he did on that night was just, it was inexcusable. Like I was just like, come on, you should have thicker skin than that. Like,
I'm not defending him, but also you have the history where Chris Rock was making fun of her in the past.
He's always been making fun of her. Yeah.
In
Make fun of them.
Yeah, he makes fun of them quite regularly, but they've known each other for like 35 years. Like they all came out at the came into the industry around about the same time. So and like and a lot of people were saying, oh, did Chris Rock know about her alopecia? Apparently he didn't, but I mean, I find that rather hard to believe, to be honest, personally, because if they know each other so well, then I'm pretty sure he'd know that. But
I don't know. We're not in their heads, so I wouldn't call
exactly
stupid for believing that Chris Rock.
Yeah, all right, James. One of the things that I did find funny was that Ricky Gervais afterwards said, he said, I wouldn't have made fun about her, her being bald. I would have made fun about her boyfriend. I was like, oh, yeah. I would have imagine, but that's the thing, and I think the optics of the whole thing were really bad. It's like a black man going up on stage slapping another black man. I know it sounds silly, probably quite silly to say, but I was like, it does not look good, and it's
did Chris Rock deserve that?
Did he?
Did he deserve the slap?
No.
No.
It was
when
it wasn't a very it wasn't a very good joke, but it definitely did. I mean, you know, you can't just go up and start slapping comedians and people. You can't go. Imagine if you're at a stand-up show and you're like, I don't like this guy's joke. It offends me. I'm going to slap him or her.
Well, did you hear about the guy that they pulled out of Chris Rock's stand-up concert yesterday, the day before? Yeah, there's a guy heckling Chris Rock, and Chris Rock made a joke like, "Oh, is this guy gonna pull out a gun or shoot me or something?" And then like security came and they escorted him out, and he was like trying to wrestle with the police. Yeah,
no, I didn't hear about
not
that.
a good president.
Yeah, I mean,
president.
I heard another person they were screaming F Will Smith at his show,
Yeah,
and he shut him down. He was like, "Hey, let's not do that, guys."
Yeah, no, but there's heckler that they had to pull out with security, and he was like fighting with the cops outside of the stadium.
Wow, I heard Ricky Gervais shared a clip from The Office that where it was just a little clip where he says, "Oh, well, his wife has alopecia, so you know he has a tough home life," and it was just a random clip from an episode of The Office where he had said that, and he put that on it, I think, on his Twitter, and shared it. We're like, wow, and I watched it like 3 times. I was like, that's just poking the bear right there.
Well, what I will say was I was very impressed with how Chris Rock reacted to the whole thing. I was like, God, if that had been me, I just wouldn't have been able to do anything. I'd have been like, I'm on stage. What the hell do I do? Like, he clearly didn't know. Like, from the minute that Will slapped him, he did not know what he was going. I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to like hug him or something, or like, I was just like, imagine being in that situation. It must have been so crazy. And he makes a joke about it afterwards. He's like, Will Smith slapped the shit out of me. And then, you know, and I was like, honestly, yeah, okay, the joke wasn't amazing, but a lot of respect for the way Chris Rock, and also didn't press. I mean, I wouldn't have pressed charges. I know Jim Carrey was like, I would have sued him for $200 million, but I'm a bit like,
no, I like Jim Carrey's stance on it though. Like Jim Carrey at that point, like setting that example.
I would,
yeah.
I liked what Jim Carrey said, but also
I liked what he said, but I was a bit like,
when he made the G.I. Jane joke, and then like Will Smith laughed, and then he looked at Jada, and he's like, "Oh, it's not funny." Like Will Smith laughed at the start, and then she was upset. Chris Rock went, "Come on, I made a G.I. Jane joke," you know?
Yeah,
like
yeah. It was one of the most surreal moments I think I can think of in like,
I was
especially
so
live TV. I was just I mean, I was more shocked.
Has been like a beacon since my childhood. Like he's been like, I remember like when he first got on Independence Day, I saw him and punch that alien, sing "Welcome to Earth." I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. You know, he's an action star now, and I haven't really followed like most of the movies he's done lately, but like, he was always like some form of positivity in the entertainment world for me. And to see that happen, it's just like, oh, I didn't know how to feel about it. Like, well, I know I felt disgusted, but like how I felt to see that. You don't want to watch your heroes. You never want to meet your heroes, they say. So
I started watching Men in Black because we're gonna me and Curtis later are gonna be doing on Versus. We're gonna be doing Men in Black versus the Rest in Peace Department, RIPD. And which is, oh boy. Anyway, but it was funny watching Men in Black that I was watching it, and it really affected my my vision of Will Smith. I was just kind of watching, and I was kind of had a bad taste in my mouth. It took a while. That movie's so great, but it took a while for me to shake that. I thought that was really weird. That's
why I can't watch Baby Driver anymore. And I love
yeah, that's
like, what I need to do is I need to make a version of Baby Driver with Christopher Plummer's face copied over Kevin's face, and then I'll get Edward to do the voiceover, and then I'll be able to watch Baby Driver again.
Yeah, I just wonder if that's going to happen every time I see Will Smith, and if that's going to affect his castability in the future, you know? Or
I did right.
Yeah. I also think that I thought I would have sued him for an amount of money that wouldn't hurt him, and it would be a matter of principle. where I'm like, I'm going to sue him for $1,000 just because Chris Rock's got a lot of money too. You know what I mean? Just so that he has to pay me, and it's like he has to write that check, and it's more of a yeah, it's just kind of a dick move. They're like, okay, you're going to slap me in public, I'm going to shame you, and now the judge is going to make you pay me, and I don't care about the money. This is about you paying me. And then also, if I was the Academy, I don't think I would have, and they didn't, he resigned, but I think I would have just banned him from any Academy appearances. Yeah, anything, any functions. So it would be an embarrassment that would stick with him. So say if he was, I don't know, forever, maybe 10 years. So if he does any amazing performances and gets an award, like, hey, you got best actor in this thing, and he did an amazing job and he worked really hard for it, he can't go receive that award. Maybe somebody else has to receive it for him, and everyone's going to know why and be like, hey, that's what happens when you mess around at the Academy Awards. You don't do that.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Danzig.
Thank you, Dan.
Later, Dan.
Well, more depressing news. Bruce Willis has retired from acting. Wow,
we
what
were
a
going to
week.
do a video on this.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, you had an idea for one because you sent me an article being like, something's not right with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, we heard rumblings and we're like, should do a video, and no sources could confirm, so we were gonna go like, is it true or is it not true? And then I guess he just announced it yesterday.
It was announced by Demi Moore, and they on Instagram, and it's really sad. He's got I can't remember the exact name of the thing he was diagnosed with.
It's like a form of dementia, kind of, right?
Yeah,
it's more to do with your cognitive abilities and your ability to speak.
Aphasia.
Aphasia. So it's like he's I think he's been for quite some time now. Probably has been losing the ability to speak properly, which is why we haven't seen him in public for quite some time. And which is probably another reason why he's been doing a lot of straight to DVD, VOD movies, is because he didn't want to do the press.
And that's what I was thinking too. Like, because he never really liked doing the press junkets for films. So, and then with the aphasia, he would want to do the press junkets. And then with these VOD movies, he can just show up for one day, shoot all his scenes, get fed the lines in the earpiece, and then he's done, right? Because they're all military movies too, so it always has an earpiece in. Yeah.
I think a lot of that had to do with that, and now he's obviously got to the point where it's probably got really bad, and he can't do it anymore. So they just said no. And he's also been spending quite a lot of time with Demi Moore and his family. It's so sad because he's literally probably the last like remaining kind of incredible action movie star we have really from that era. Like some of the movies he made over the years, like action, like Die Hard is one of the best action movies ever made. And then he's Die Hard 2 was great as well. I really like Die Hard 2, but he's been in so many. It's such a shame. And he's also like he was in Motherless Brooklyn, was like one of the last things I saw him in, and I think he's great in that movie. And it's just such a great career, and so it's just sad that he's not
toast to Bruce Willis.
Yeah. And you got to think of all the films he's like Pulp Fiction, The Sixth Sense. I'm trying to think of some other.
I really liked Red.
Yeah,
I liked Red. Yeah,
Red was fun. That was a fun.
16 Blocks was amazing.
16 Blocks was good. Yeah, 16 Blocks was the last. Wasn't that the last film by the Lethal Weapon director?
Richard Donner.
Yeah, I think it's a Richard Donner film. Yes, it is a Richard Donner film.
Yep.
Yeah. The Fifth Element. That was the film I'm trying to think of. The Fifth Element. Yeah.
I saw that Kevin Smith, he apologized for the cop out complaints and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like a dick after all this and what he's going through and stuff, and all these things, all these complaints were pretty petty now and looking back, so he apologized. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and then the Razzies have taken back their awards that they gave him.
Good.
But it's it happens.
Were they giving him awards? Were they giving him awards for like more recent movies?
Yeah, his more recent films. Yeah, they were giving
Yeah.
him Razzie Awards or nominations and things for like.
It's
He's
not
like- he's in
funny
a
when
f-
you find out
Mm.
he's not well. That sucks.
Yeah, and he's just basically trying. I mean, I don't think he was doing badly for money, but he obviously still wanted to work. So it's and to be honest, some of those movies weren't terrible. Like I think I watched Cosmic Sin, which wasn't great, but
Hell
it
yeah,
wasn't wrong.
Looper was great.
What's the M.
Was
Night
it- yeah, he
Shyamalan?
was in Looper.
Uh,
Yeah, and also he was in Glass and those
Glass, yeah.
those films. Yeah, recently.
Unbreakable.
And, Unbreakable. He's so good in that. It's just
Looper was fantastic.
yeah, Looper was really good. Such a shame. Such a shame.
There's no
Right.
good way to segue out of this. So
No, and more shame.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
you never know. You can be good 1 minute and then not, and just in a flash, it can happen.
yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Here's your segue.
Talking of the Flash. Oh my God, this story is nuts. Like, this story is absolutely fucking crazy. And I've actually got more stuff to add to this story because I've been doing some research into what's been going on. So one of the first things I wanted to know is what the hell is he doing? Was he doing in Hawaii?
Is that
because
Bruce
he's-
Wayne?
No. He's sorry, they Ezra Miller's was supposed to be in London for the premiere of the new Fantastic Beasts movie, which they are starring in, and they weren't. Ezra was in Hawaii. Apparently, he's been in Hawaii for quite some time. So it all started with some reports that there had been there had been an altercation in a bar in Hawaii, in a karaoke bar. Apparently, he like assaulted a person that was singing the song "Shallows" in the karaoke bar, and the police were
people at a
called.
gas station.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that, and apparently there had been 10 incidences in
10
Hawaii,
calls to the
but
police.
10 calls to the police and bars around the place where he was in Hawaii. I can't remember the name of it exactly off the top of my head. And so he has just been going from Hilo. They have been just going from bar to bar to bar in Hawaii, getting blind drunk and causing scenes everywhere they go. And then the story gets even weirder because Ezra met this couple in a farmer's market, and they were like, yes, you can stay with us. They were actually the ones to pay the $500 bail for him to get out of prison. That night, Ezra then goes into their bedroom, starts shouting at the husband, saying, I'm going to kill you and your slut wife, and then steals all their credit cards, social security cards, a load of shit, their personal belongings, and then goes away. And then the couple then issued a restraining order against him. They got a restraining order against him. It is bonkers what's going on with Ezra Miller. Like, something's not right with this guy, and this has been going back to a couple of years ago now, where he was. Sorry, I always say he, non-binary. So they were filmed strangling a girl outside of a bar in Finland, I think, in Helsinki. Something is not right with
I think
Ezra
he
Miller.
needs to go on a vacation and not party.
Well, that's why they're in Hawaii. That's why Ezra's
party
in Hawaii.
vacation. I'm talking like
He does.
like
Ezra
Brad-
doesn't need. Ezra needs to go into a rehab. Is what he needs to go into.
I think Ezra's got issues with drug and alcoholism, and I think apparently there was a bereavement in their family. But I mean, again, we're getting this information from very odd sources. Not
because
really
we don't
sources,
really know,
people
right?
because we don't know what's going on with him. And sorry, with them. I'm really sorry, but it's a very bizarre story. and I do feel for Ezra because I think Ezra's a terrific actor. I like seeing Ezra in the Flash movie. I want to see Ezra in the Flash movie. I think like we need to talk about Kevin is one of the best films ever made, and Ezra's performance in that is bonkers. It's really good.
I didn't like him in Justice League, but I really liked him in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah. Why is Kaz cancelling me?
I don't know.
That's
He's
some
trying to be funny.
sleeper agent behavior. Also, Edward is cancelled now.
Because you misgendered.
I
He
know.
canceled you. This actor just needs rehab. There's, and some serious counseling. And
counseling, I see. Rehab, if that's the case. So we don't know. We're not there with them, right? So.
But I was thinking about what happens with what's his name? The guy that was in the Transformers movies, Shia LaBeouf, and I see some similarities here because Ezra Miller is also a child actor. This sort of thing happens a lot to child actors. They get to a point where they just can't handle something, and everything starts spiraling out of control very quickly. So I wonder whether something similar is happening here with Ezra. And yes, I get it. Okay, guys, I misgendered Ezra. I do apologize.
No, it was all good until Kaz, brought it up, but that's what he does. Yeah.
James said him one time also. I heard it.
The moment you realize you misgendered. And
it's also 3 o'clock in the morning here, and it's difficult. It can be difficult, guys.
I'm not apologizing. We've hiccuped enough that everyone should know we have the best intentions here. We've said sorry. we've paused and we all have the best intentions here. So
there was also did you see that video that Ezra posted on Instagram where they're going on about the Ku Klux Klan and basically being like, "I'm going to kill you all."
Yep,
I heard about
it.
That.
It was weird. And it's weird. It's a shame. It's a shame that this is happening. I hope Ezra's okay, but oh god, it's not a good story. It's not a good look. It's terrible PR for the Flash movie as well, and for their career just in general. Oh dear.
I'm just speculating, but it sounds like some out of control partying. I've saw the video where he does the whole, or where Ezra did the whole throat shake thing on the lady before.
Yeah,
I heard that Ezra was really drunk at this bar, heckling, and I've known through some really close family and some experiences on my own how you can get out of control and you got to reel it in. And it's really funny how a lot of entertainers, I don't know if it's the pressure that subconsciously makes you sabotage yourself or what, where you're finally actually doing what you're supposed to be, what you thought you wanted, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden things are happening. This is when you should be putting money away, when you should be investing, when you should be really concentrating on more jobs and growing your career even more. And it's and again, I can speak from my own experiences, and like just partying like crazy and just sabotaging a lot of things that man, it's like, this is a point in your life where you've got a lot of doors opening and you could do some great things. And it's sad that a lot of people sabotage when other people
story.
Yeah, it really is.
Booze does that a lot to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I mentioned Shia LaBeouf, because I think the same thing happened to him. Really, like the Shia LaBeouf really flew off the handle. And then made some like incredible films, like that film that he made about I think it's a semi-autobiographical movie. I'm forgetting the name of the film.
Do it.
The Honey Boy, Honey Boy. So he did that. Do it. The whole just do it thing. That was so funny. But yeah, it's just it's an upsetting story because you want Ezra to succeed. And yeah, the whole people asking about the Ku Klux Klan story. Ezra basically threatened the Ku Klux Klan and they called themselves a very weird name that I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. It was really funny. It's like, hey, it's Ezra here, like the Grand Moff Gideon Wizard or whatever, and I was just like, that's quite funny, but it's like something's going on with Ezra, and something we need to talk about Ezra. Ezra, I hope you're okay.
I thought it was just brilliant press where it's like, yeah, I want to kill the Ku Klux Klan. If you have any problem with that, then it's like, what? That's not cool. Violence. They'll be like, what? You like the Ku Klux Klan? No, I don't like the Ku Klux Klan. Well, if you condemn his statements, you're a Klan lover.
Okay, should we end the stream with something that seems negative but actually positive?
Yes.
Speaking of Ku Klux Klan.
no, that's not a good segue.
God damn it.
The Jedi Knights. Sorry.
Speaking of wizards, Grand Wizard.
Yeah, wizards. There you go. That's it. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series has been delayed. So it's been pushed back by 2 days. It was going to come out on Wednesday, the 25th of March. It's now coming out on Friday, the 27th. Not only that, so it's being pushed back. This was announced by good old Ewan McGregor on all the Star Wars.
Ray Winstone is a national treasure.
All the Star Wars social media platforms. He's like, we are so happy with your response to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. But the first 2 episodes are coming out. I can't get out of this accent now. The first 2 episodes are coming out on Friday. So I think that's fun. We're going to get 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi to enjoy on Friday, the 27th of May. I think it's is it 6 episodes long? I think the season. Yeah. So we're going to get the 6 episodes, and then once the 6 episode run is complete, we're getting Captain Marvel. Not Captain Marvel, getting Miss Marvel, the series. Yeah, so it's good. May is going to be an interesting month. I can't wait for this. And then She-Hulk, yeah. And then She-Hulk's butt, as Kazakh likes to say for some reason. I don't get that. Kazakh, you say a lot of stuff I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know why you keep on telling me it's Christmas. I don't.
Kaz, I hope you're okay, man. It's like, whatever's going on in your life, man. I just hope it works out.
Maybe Kaz is secretly Ezra.
Maybe. That could be it.
Maybe that's what's happening. Are you in Hawaii right now, Kaz? So in a prison cell in Hawaii.
I don't know why they would mess up the 45-year to the day anniversary of the release of the original.
Oh, there's a reason.
And bump it forward 2 days. That's like
bump it back 2 days. So
because it's going to overlap.
That's what I meant. Bump it back. I meant bump it. When I say forward, I mean into the future. That's like pushing it into the future, but it's bump it back. Tomato. But like to me, that's like having. It's like having 5 bar stools all perfectly aiming the same direction, and then one of them is skewed a little bit crooked, and I just feel like I have to straighten it. Like you could have had it 45 days to the day, 45 years to the day, and they just messed it up by 2 days. Why would you do that?
Yeah, the reason is Disney, they're really kind of trying to figure out their release strategies for these shows, because they originally started off with them being released on Fridays, the Marvel and Star Wars shows. Then with Loki, that's when they changed it to Wednesday, and then I mean Loki did really well. Like the shows that have been coming out recently have been doing pretty well. I wonder whether Hawkeye didn't do as well, so they're like, okay, let's try and see if we can push it back to Fridays, make it more event television to watch on a Friday evening. Maybe that might mean that they might get more views. I think this is probably the series that they know they've got the most interest in this year, that's coming out this year. And also there's also that gap between where like the first episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be released, and then the first episode of Miss Marvel. I think there was an overlap.
So is Miss Marvel going to be Wednesdays still?
They haven't announced Miss Marvel whether it's coming out on a Wednesday. I think they might Wednesday. Let's have a look. Miss Marvel release date. That might still be coming out on a Wednesday. It's June 8th. So when's June 8th? June 8th is.
June
I
8th
don't
is a
know.
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday, so they're still coming on a Wednesday. Maybe it's just for this show. Maybe they think maybe the analytics are better for Fridays for Star Wars for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, who
Interesting.
knows? They still, with the weekly release strategy, they get like a ridiculous amount of views compared to any. Like when this, I was talking about this earlier today, and I was talking about it with someone that works for one of these companies, and I was like, the company they work for, I'm going to name it's Netflix. The company and I was like, why do you not put more effort and money into promoting your shows? Because literally there is no way of knowing when a new Netflix show has been released unless you go straight onto the platform. And they basically said, look, what Netflix saves, like the money Netflix saves in promoting their shows, they will spend on making other shows. Like they were like, the numbers that Disney are spending on promoting their shows is ludicrous. Like for billboards, ad placements, the guy mentioned the amount of money they spent on the Super Bowl ads, and also the amount of money they're planning to spend on the Qatar World Cup, the Football World Cup.
Oh wow!
Apparently they're going to spend a shit ton on that, on promoting their upcoming shows during those football matches or soccer. Well done, the United States and Canada, for having both countries have made it to Qatar. Well done. They're both in the same group as England. No, actually, no, it's the USA. The USA is in the same group as England.
And they're like, hey, happy to see your country in soccer. Yeah. And I was like,
yeah, you're going to do what? Canada's got a good team.
I haven't watched sports ball in a decade.
Canada's got as you guys like to say in the United States, you got a good squad. Yeah, USA just made
say about you doing North American accents, Edward.
I don't know. I can do whatever I want. It's my show.
I'll do my British accent then next show.
Oh, I lost my contact lens. So it's just this. Yeah. Anyway, so apparently they're spending a lot of money on that sort of stuff, and Netflix has deliberately stayed away from doing that sort of promotion for their shows, and have decided to put the money back into their original shows. But it basically, and the guy was also like that. He said, look, the amount of people that watch stuff just by scrolling through Netflix, to us, that's enough promotion. Like if something's at the top of Netflix, they'll probably watch it. You know, like at the moment it's Bridgerton. So the numbers on Bridgerton are huge.
Oh, dude, you search for anything on Netflix, like the fourth search result that comes up will be something they're promoting. Like
they promote it through their own platform. They don't spend a lot of money on billboards and advertising and things like that. They just don't do that. And the other ones do. Like Amazon does it a lot, and Netflix, Disney Plus does it a lot as well.
It's genius having a top 10 listed there, because you say, oh, those must be good, because that's what everybody's watching, you know? So it's like, okay, cool, I'll check those out.
They're the only ones that have it as well. I don't see it on any of the other platforms. They've really nailed that. But I still find Netflix really annoying. Like I like the fact that I know on a Wednesday, like now I've got Moon Knight to watch on Disney Plus. There are even some shows like Reacher I was really looking forward to watching, you know, when that was released, because I knew it was being released. With Netflix, something will turn up that I've never heard of before, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll watch this. This looks fun. Like there was a show, was it Alice in Borderland? I did not know about that before I started watching it, really. A lot of Squid Game I didn't really know much about before I started watching that. It's like you just kind of go onto the platform, and the algorithm goes, yeah, you're going to like this, watch this, and that's it, really. It's clever.
I heard Reacher is teaming up with Detective Rounds. They're going to have a show called Reacher Rounds. It's going to be pretty good.
Hello there.
Sorry.
Anyway,
call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
All right.
That's everything.
You're like, on that note, let's put Clint to bed.
Well done, Clint.
Yes, sir.
Well done.
Well, that was fun. That was a fun stream.
Yeah.
Thank
you for watching, everyone, and chiming in the comments.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, very cool. Cool. Are we doing this again next week?
Oh yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
This was nice. It's been a while since we've all been on here together.
Yeah, we've been. I don't know if you
Famous.
guys know who Pokeroo is, but it's like a children's show in Canada here, where it's like you had two hosts, and then like, let me bring up a picture. Pokeroo was like in a costume, and you'd never see the two hosts together, right?
Yeah.
It was called the Polka Dot Door. Hold on,
You're just saying words now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pokeroo.
back here.
Pokeroo.
Pokeroo sounds like a. I'm not even gonna say it.
Anyways, you'd never see the two hosts because one of the hosts was always in the costume playing it. So like
Okay.
the last couple of weeks
Bum.
has been, it's either been me or Clint or me or you, Edward, back and forth. Hasn't been the three of us for a while, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to get the band back together.
Yeah,
It is
man.
nice to get the band back together. Yeah. Right. Well, I suppose what if you've learned anything from this stream tonight, it's that don't bother going to watch Morbius. Moon Knight was good, and yeah, that's it really.
And be patient. It's not all about the merger.
That's right.
It's not all about the no.
Where can
And
they
check-
find you, Edward?
They can find me on the. You can find me on the internet. There you go. I'm trying to do my Obi-Wan Kenobi voice.
Yeah.
These are not the hashtags you're looking for.
And Clint.
And I'll have I will have a prize for anybody that can find Zaslav in the new Doctor Strange 2 video that we did. Who's going to be in Doctor Strange 2 video? It's on my YouTube channel / Clint Baker channel. Yeah, check that out. You can find me on the OG Clint Baker on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me in my Skinamax After Dark Australian.
Who's gonna be in Doctor Strange 2?
Pokeroo. That was a Pokeroo joke. Skinamax
I
After
was wondering.
Dark
I was
Australian.
wondering where that's going.
Yeah,
I had to get one
Pokeroo.
more cut off in. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's no moon.
Oh, and you can catch me on Versus here in a little bit. In about 49 minutes, we're going to be doing a Versus tonight. It's Men in Black versus the RIPD. Yikes.
Woo!
Me
and
Is that-
Bakertown.
That's the Ryan Reynolds movie, right?
Yes. It's the two supernatural movies with police duos that are hunting down it's the same movie twice, basically, is what I supposed. And we're going to argue that later.
You can't win, Vader. If you'll strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Cool. And you can find me at 42cutcom on Twitter and all the other places I do. I run and work and edit and all that stuff. We're gonna play the countdown music again because Edward loves it. Just till you see Thanos.
It's really good.
Stick around backstage, Edward.